And we're back. Welcome everyone, welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Hope all the Hamadachi out there is doing fine. Also, Tilapia, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Nichan, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Ratman. This motherfucker is with me. Why am I greeting you? You're literally hearing me. Why am I greeting you? What the fuck? Anyway, firstly, Godly, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Thrice, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Mars, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Firstly, Godly says, Jen, I love you. Don't worry, man. I love myself too. Don't worry.
That is like a fucking crony type response. Oh my goodness. That's such a crony type response.
I don't watch crony, man. I don't know what that is.
No. Okay, so I'm referencing to one of her NPC streams. So when somebody says I love you, she says thank you. I love me too. Is ice cream so good? Gang. Sorry, ice cream so good.
I hate you. I hate you.
All right. Okay.
I hate
Fair.
you. All right. Anyway, Redman reference crony. Yeah, Redman loves crony apparently. I did show him like a mod for Left 4 Dead like a while back, where it's like bottom heavy crony and he'll just like drooling over it. He's like a freak, you know. Yep, told ya. Anyway, Mario Mathis reference.
Oh my god.
She doesn't know clone woman unbelievable. No, I know about her. I just don't watch her. That's the thing. Mostly because, well, I don't just, you know. I think it's just like shyness. I don't like go to like bigger creator because nervous, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I get inspired by them. So maybe if you think of me, well, not really think of me, but
funny thing actually,
I just probably act like crony. I don't know.
Funny thing about that actually, right? When I was like, what you call it? No, I think it's like somewhere when I was like taking hiatus from like New Vegas, right? Necro came over and told me like, hey, did you know that Amelia Watson, when she was like still streaming, right? She was streaming like Fault New Vegas and how do you call it? Necro says, hey, did you know that Ame's like New Vegas thumbnail kind of looks like yours? And I was like, wait, for real? And I was like, okay, sure, let me take a look. And I was like, wait, what the hell? It does look like.
Imagine.
What I do?
Imagine. Oh my god.
Pam. Oh. Anyway, yeah, so that's basically that. I don't know.
Yeah,
also, I fixed my mic. I don't talk. I'm fixed my mic. I don't talk to the butt of my mic anymore. I'm not like a kisser anymore, okay? If this still fucks up the audio, I don't know what it is.
No, it sounds fine to us, by the way.
Does it now? Does it have like echo or anything? Does it have like echo or reverb or anything? Okay, by the way, I set my mic to mono. I set my mic to mono just to like as precaution as well.
Fair. That's fair.
Anyway, since we're watching, oh shit, the lag. Okay, since we're watching what you call tasting history, right? I decided to like make some snacks. I want to have mocktail as well, but I do not know how to make one, so.
Oh my god, is that a Bernice reference?
Anyway, so I got some baby carrot mixed with corn, sweet corn, and peas. So yeah, and I have a corned beef with some sausage. This one I'm gonna send you like a picture, but I'm lazy. So yeah, cheers.
Don't even start. Said thrice. Okay, I'll be honest. That's a good like combination, especially like meat and also a little bit of vegetables in there. That's actually good. Again, do you have rice behind that thing?
Apparently, what you call it? I have like some of them on. I want to have some of them on like on noodles as well. No, spaghetti. That's the thing, right? On spaghetti.
Oh.
But it kind of like take longer to like make it, and I don't really have the time. I made this like in 15 minutes, so I don't really have the time to do that as well. So yeah. I can
hear. Yeah, I can hear the crunchiness. I mean, Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Okay, sorry. I had to reference that again. Uh,
Here. No. Don't do the
why did it
bonus.
look like you're? Why did it look like you're whispering into my ear? What are you saying, bro?
I know, man. I'm eating. Mocktail may
Say the
satisfies.
magic word.
It's nice. It's real nice. I'm lit. You
Redmond
can't
Plus.
deny. Whatever you want, whatever you need, so you can never ever want to leave. Anything that you desire, set it on fire. Cease.
Seize. Like seize your existence.
I was
don't know,
talking
man.
with Mythical Cat like earlier last week actually.
Yeah.
And I just found out that Myth hates the song. So
I
yeah,
thought he liked it, bro.
I don't know. It's a funny thing. I don't know.
Oh.
It's got it's got a catch to it. Also, I'm gonna taste the sausage right now. See if it works. Okay.
All right. You have
Mm.
rice with that thing, right?
No, it's just sausage. Big
It's
fluffy
just
sausage.
sausage.
Big
You're
fluffy
not a
sausage.
real Asian if you don't eat anything without sausage.
Listen, I'm not a savage like
I
you.
mean,
okay?
without rice, sorry.
Eat anything with the sausage. What are you, German? In German, you eat sausage. Anything you eat, you eat sausage, okay?
Uh-huh. Okay.
You have breakfast, you eat sausage. You have dinner, you eat sausage. You go to a bar, they put sausage with a straw, and you suck it up.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Hello, Jan and other furry.
Connected na ko. Welcome to the cinema. How are you doing today? No, German, you need potato and bread. Bread, if you're Polish, okay? Bread and
Connected
no,
Nikos, it's me.
no, potato if you're Polish. Bread, I don't know what kind of people eat bread. Dutch, I guess? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Other furries. Who is the furry? Oh wait, Necro, you're a furry. Never mind. Not Necro! Redman, you're a furry. Redman, you're a furry. Why do I think Necro is here? What the fuck? Listen, I've been how do you call it? I've been collabing with Necro for too long. Maybe yeah.
You have to switch it up. Bro, switching gears, bro.
Okay. One thing I have to say about the sausage, it is a bit undercooked.
Then put it back in the oven, bro.
I can, man. Let me see. I'm gonna die of fucking tapeworm before I put this thing inside of reading again.
Oh no. Well, I've heard like stories of tapeworms. I mean,
You know
as
what?
much they like.
I'm
as
I'm
much
about to
as
do
They, like,
I'm
what?
about to do a house reference.
What was that? He
Funny
said
thing,
a line
funny
there.
thing actually, I did learn about things as well. Human intestine is like really long, right?
Yeah.
So I was reading as a comic. There's like a comic of like 28 days later, right? And there is this one time
That
there
was
were
a thing? I didn't
there
know
was a
that.
comic. Yes, there was a comic. Yes, if I recall correctly, they did like a fan dub. There's like this channel who did like a fan dub of it. They go like in the 3 episodes, and after that they don't do it anymore. I really wish it does, but there is something like it was long. Though it was long, and it's like really durable. You can literally use it as a rope.
Damn. Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know that was a thing. Honestly speaking.
Yeah,
Plus
it's
comic
in the
too.
aftermath. It's in the aftermath, and no, they don't have Cillian Murphy character in it.
All right. Fine.
Chaos Machine, welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? I'm eating sausage in my mouth, and I'm about to digest it.
What?
Listen, it's better than the alternative, okay?
Fair. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's fair.
we're gonna do that took me back for a second. We're gonna do a watch along of tasting yesterday. So yeah. Give me a second. Let me pull up the video. Also, OBS is kind of being like a bitch right now because I cannot play the video through media player for some reason. I don't get why. Like that.
Well, if I remember correctly, you're using the Windows 10 version, Windows 10 media player, I think. But yeah,
Yep.
that is like unstable. I'd
Oh.
rather use VLC, but yeah, it's a bit too late right now. But it's fine.
Oh, okay. Bamboozle the raccoon. You can't bamboozle the raccoon. That's not how raccoon works. You can't bamboozle raccoon.
Yes,
Marsupilami. Oh. Okay, I gotta turn that off.
took a
No.
bath.
Okay. Give me a second. I think it's me showing it on your screen is what's causing the lag. Right
It
now.
was not causing the thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off for now. There.
Okay.
No, I'm turning the preview, so yeah. Let me know if there's any
Okay.
like frame drop, okay?
You hear that, chat?
Okay, let's go. Oh, I've
You
gotta
hear
turn up
that?
the BGM first, okay. Okay, stop that. Alright, you starting. Ready?
Yeah, ready. Let's go. Let's do
Okay,
it.
so the first episode we see is standing third class on RMS Titanic. In case you don't know, RMS means Royal Mail Service. Yes, they sell mails, okay?
Welcome
Yeah.
to Titanic Month. Yes, not one episode, but an entire month of episodes dedicated to the food and experiences
This is
aboard the
good.
RMS Titanic. We're starting with the third class
can hear from
experience
the,
with this recipe
YouTube.
for
It works,
rice
yeah.
soup, served as the
Cool.
first course for dinner on the day of the disaster. Then we'll work our way through second class, the crew, and of course, first class. And there are so many stories that I found, and I want to share as many as I can, so we'll also probably throw in a couple mini episodes in addition to our normal Tuesday episodes. Titanic Month starts now, this time on Tasting History. So I have two major goals with this series. First is to finish my Lego Titanic and find a place to put it.
Oh,
The
Lego.
second is
That's
that by the end of the
cool.
series,
I didn't-
we will have
okay,
created
that's
an
actually pretty cool.
entire meal of several different courses
I
inspired
bet that
by the
costs like
menus
$300
from
for
April
like the
14th,
one whole set.
1912, the last full day that the Titanic sailed 110 years ago. And most of the dishes are going to be from the first class because they were just more exciting, but since today we're talking third class, I figured we would start off with the soup served to third class
Feed me too.
passengers for
Nah,
dinner
you
on
buy
that
your own
day.
food.
Now, the problem is that while we know the names of a lot of the dishes that were served on the ship, we don't have any recipes, so we don't exactly know what they were making. So I'll have to refer to period cookbooks to figure out what the recipes might have been. Like this recipe for rice soup from Eliza Acton's Modern Cookery for Private Families. Throw 4 ounces of well-washed rice into boiling water, and in 5 minutes after, pour it into a sieve, drain it well, and put it into a couple of quarts of good white boiling stock. Let it stew until tender. Season the soup with salt, cayenne, and pounded mace. Stir to it 3/4 of a pint of very rich cream. Give it one boil and serve it quickly. So while this may seem kind of basic, it's actually a lot more exciting than the other period rice soup recipes that I found, all of which were just rice and stock, and that's basically just rice. So for this recipe, what you'll need is 2/3 cup or 105 grams of long grain rice, 2 quarts or 2 liters of chicken or veal stock, a large pinch of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of mace, and a little
The
bit
hell is
less
a
than
mace?
1 cup or about 225 milliliters
Isn't that
of
like just
cream.
herb?
So first, rinse your
Wait.
rice. Then she says
Rice.
to throw it into boiling water, but because I didn't want first-degree burns, I went ahead and placed mine into boiling water. Let it boil for 5 minutes and
I
then
feel
pour
like
it
this is
into a
most
sieve.
people can make,
Then bring the
actually.
stock
Now I
to
think
a
about
boil
it.
and put the
This is
rice
just
into
rice.
It's nutmeg.
Then turn the heat down until
Mace
it's
is
just
nutmeg.
simmering and let it simmer for about 45 minutes. Now, while it cooks, I wanted to call out one of the main inspirations I had for doing these episodes, and that is the book Last Dinner on the Titanic. I was obsessed with this book when it came out about 25 years ago, and I am
25
still
years ago? Holy
somewhat
crap.
obsessed with this book. Now, I think it's out of print, but I'm going to put a link in the description to where you can get it used, as well as a link to many of the other sources that I use. And just in case you never look down there in the description, I always list to a lot of my sources, different ingredients,
way,
as well as my social links, Reddit.
Guys, also yeah, in case you guys never see my description, also go to my description, please. I got a lot of things there as well. Like my Discord thing and like, you know, Twitter and stuff like that, come check it out if you can.
Discord, as well
I
as
wish
my
I can
Patreon,
also
which,
like
other than watching the videos
set up
themselves,
the
is the best
Discord
way to
bot as
support
well,
the channel. So
Uh.
make sure to always check it out. Now you're going to
or
want to keep
the
an eye on the soup as
or
it boils
Streamlabs
because
bot.
it can all pretty much boil away, and then you'll just
Wait.
have
Hang on. Max, hold on a second. Ferricilli says Jenny Chica just satisfying. The fuck? What the hell? What do you mean by that?
The
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
Hello?
Noted, MF. Welcome to Stream Hidden. Yeah, what the fuck that means? That's supposed to mean then.
What did they? Oh,
The fuck?
hello?
Nah, man, go chill.
Relax, dude.
Holy shit, man. Holy crap. Not in front of my food, bro. Come on. Hold it up. I think everyone is misunderstanding. I don't know, man. It's kinda sus to me.
rice. So make sure to keep an eye on it, and if it does look to be getting too low, then just put
Okay.
the lid on. But while it finishes simmering, let us take a gander at the third-class experience on the Titanic.
Okay.
Now,
I'm not
I
a
don't care
vegetable.
what class you were, whether you were fresh off the farm or dined nightly at the Ritz, in 1912, the RMS Titanic would have been a spectacular sight. By the way, RMS stands for Royal Mail Ship, and the
Yeah, you know what I'm
Titanic
talking
did
about.
carry mail. But at nearly 900 feet long, the biggest ship of its day, it carried a lot more than just mail. 75,000
especially
pounds of fresh
passengers
meat,
and
25,000
other stuff.
pounds of poultry, 11,000 pounds of fresh fish,
Oh
7,000
my God,
heads
fish.
of lettuce, 40
fish.
tons of potatoes, 36,000 oranges, and 13,000 grapefruit, which is about 13,000 too many, in my opinion. 250 barrels of flour, 800 pounds of tea, 40,000 fresh eggs, and 1,200 quarts of ice cream.
I was gonna ask, what's up with 800 pounds of tea, and then I realized it's British.
It is British.
It's a
Yeah.
British ship, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I was gonna ask, right? I was gonna ask, okay, wait, why tea specific? And I was like, wait, it's British.
Like, he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's from White Star Line. Obviously, they would be like tons of tea in there, and also
Okay.
all these just wasted all on on the seafloors.
No, not necessarily. Not all of them necessarily. They have thousands of people inside of that ship. You need food.
Yeah, that
more.
too.
But
Yeah, I understand
Max did make a good point. 13,000 of grapefruit. Yeah, I feel like
Grapefruit.
that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. But gotta feed the fishes somehow.
Jesus. That includes people.
Yeah. Listen,
Oh my
man.
God.
Listen, okay. You know that
1,000.
you know
200
that
quarts.
movie Little Mermaid, right? Why do you think there's so much
Yeah.
freaking shipwreck on the ground,
Oh fuck.
but no body? But no body. Gotta feed the fish, man. Gotta feed the fish.
Well, yeah. It also feeds the fish. Plus, the freezing ocean of the Atlantic also dissolves the bones. So there's that too. Salty water.
Healthy waterman, yeah. Also, I love how it actually says like, how do you call it? Fresh meat and fresh fish, like as if fish is not meat. This is what I'm saying, right? I did told you guys this before. Fish is not meat, okay? It's counted as vegetable because it's disgusting, okay? It's not meat. Fish is not meat. Let that be known, okay? And if you say otherwise, I will not consider you a human being. That's not right.
Wait, hang on. So, it would have been like either fucked up or screwed up if we have 75 k of pounds of fresh meat plus additional
Mhm.
after the sinking. Oh
Mhm.
no! Oh
It's good, man.
god! Oh man!
It's a big ass
The
fish, man.
seawater salt is for corpses. No, I mean, I just said. Wait, hang on.
No.
I just
It's
said
not
that
the water. No, it's not the water. It's the animal in this. It's the animal in the ocean itself that eats it. You ever seen like one of those corpse of fish, like you're just lying on the ocean floor, and there's like a lot of other fish like eat it? That's basically that. They'll find a way.
Same thing with like there's the same thing with like one of those smaller sharks. I saw like a video of like a half a shark like still on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like that makes me concerned. Like there's a bigger fish or a bigger shark than that.
Oh, that'll be bigger fish. The deeper the ocean goes, the more the bigger the thing is. You know,
You'll need a bigger boat.
you need a bigger boat to survive that.
I miss Jaws. I actually want to rewatch Jaws.
I just saw like one of those how do you call like ocean documentary. I forgot what it's called actually, right? Where they actually talk like the deeper an ocean goes, the bigger the animal gets, right?
Uncanny. Yeah.
No, the bigger, because apparently in order for them to actually survive the pressure, they have to get bigger, so their body doesn't like get crushed.
Yes. No wonder there's like ghosts that
No,
called
no.
decompression
What I'm
chambers
saying
as
is like
well for
considering that
humans.
considering how deep like the Titanic fell to the ocean floor, even if you survive the blast itself, if you got stuck in one of the room and the room survived that long, once it reached the ocean
Yes.
floor, it's just gonna blow up. The entire thing is gonna like blow up.
Implosion, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've
So
seen that. We've
you're
seen
not
that
surviving
before.
it anyway.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm. Will you rate your will you rate your meal? I'll say again, like I said, the sausage is undercooked. The cornet is fine. The cornet is amazing fine. The the vegetable I was eating is pretty sweet. I like that. I like that. So yeah, good job. Good job. That was pretty good. To me, because I make it. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Fair.
Huh? Oh wait. Okay.
15,000 bottles of ale, 1,000 bottles of wine, and 850 bottles of liquor.
Okay. Funny thing actually is I did saw. Hang on. Max is making funny face. So I can't actually serious about that. Okay, I'm not disrespect to Max. He make a lot of funny face if you like pause it, and I just cannot hold it myself, man. So funny thing actually is right. I did find out recently that people in like desert or like what's it called, back in like cowboy movie, right, likes to
hmm
drink ginger ale, right? Because apparently
For
like
some reason.
no, because seriously, I found out the reason why. Water is expensive.
What?
However, ginger ale
What?
is not. For some
What?
reason, it's not. No, I'm serious. That's the reason why. The reason why people in like old West Saloon, for example, drink ginger ale is because water is expensive. It's like, you're in the desert, right? Water
Fair.
is
Desert, yeah, it's fair.
yes.
Okay.
So your only option is either to drink fucking cactus or ginger ale. So just either of those. The thing is, I do not know how ginger ale tastes like. I never taste any of them. I do not know how it looks like. I just heard that that's the only thing they drink, so that must be good. So I have a friend who like live in California, which is I don't know if you guys how do you call it? No foam, seafoam canary and like waku. Well, waku, both of them are like husband and wife, right?
Okay.
They've been in my stream for like for a while. We've been collabing for like a while. They live in California. And I did ask them about how does ginger ale taste like, because I really want to know how it tastes like. They said it's pretty good. Okay, I do not know how they taste like.
Okay.
Pretty good. What does that mean? I do not know. So I like asked them like, is it like sour or like bitter or like sweet or something? And they said it's like it's a bit sour, it's a bit sweet. And I was like, okay, that doesn't
Oh,
help me at all.
okay.
Because because anything, I generally do not know what sour and sweet means. What is that supposed to means? I do not like taste that is not consistent with itself, So that's that. Also, 800 pounds of tea. That's like 350 kilograms of pure tea.
It's.
I think it's supposed to
I
be
mean,
like
it is.
British,
What?
They drink tea
Yeah, it's
every
British.
day.
Yeah. Is there a substitute for water?
Mhm.
No offense to anyone who's British here. We love you guys.
I mean, there is water. It's just salty water, and I don't think putting sugar on salt water will make it sweeter. Just saying.
Just put some milk in the tea, bro. No, nobody likes milk tea. Sugar, water. Oh no.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Shut up. I know what
Thanks,
you're going to say.
Tilapia.
Shut up. You.
Egg.
Eh.
This is amazing.
Also, gonna watch iShow speed compilation. I'll be like, God damn, and you got to watch someone else's video on my stream. Motherfucker.
30,000 fresh eggs.
Anyway,
and
yeah, you take care,
1,200
okay?
quarts
You take
of
care.
ice cream. 15,000 bottles of ale, 1,000 bottles of wine, and 850 bottles of liquor. Now, this huge quantity of food and drink was necessary because the ship could carry up to 3,547 passengers and crew.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in
On its
there.
maiden voyage, there were
And
only,
only a
about
quarter
2,200
survived.
people, 709 of whom were third-class passengers. Now, if you were one of these third-class passengers, then your ticket on average would cost about
Yeah, this White Star.
It looks, yeah, it's White Star Line, and this looks like the same ticket. No, not sorry, not the same exact ticket.
It's navigation company
so-
limited of Great Britain, third class. It is ticket, man. It's sitting right there.
Yeah, it is a ticket, yeah, but it's very. From what I'm currently looking at, this is a very flimsy paper.
I mean,
It's like baking
you know,
sheet paper, flimsy.
Nah, man, they don't have printing press back then, man. Come on.
A fair, yes, I understand that. But
if you give someone a typewriter, you don't expect them to produce an MS Word, you know, worthy of paper. You don't expect that, man. It's not
Okay.
there yet.
I do have a typewriter, but I can't bring it out right now.
Funny thing, actually, we used to have a typewriter back then. My family used to own a typewriter, but we have like a college student who like lived with us, right? And she threw it away. We have no idea where it went at this point. We tried to look for it, and you have no idea. It survived pretty long. It survived for 50 years with us, and it's gone. We truly don't know where it went. If my grandpa's still alive, that college student
He's
will
gonna
not
be
survive. No, if they don't survive, no, dude. My grandpa was just like a veteran. Yeah, that will not survive. I'm gonna buy some chicken.
And
Okay,
it's
cool. It's fine. It's fine.
The thing is that typewriters are like very complicated machines, and of course we had one. I think it was before I think it's during my mom when she went abroad for the first time, and we still have it right now. But the only issue on it is the ink. It's running out, so that's what we're currently tackling with it right now. But it's not our priority. But that's the only problem with it is. So yeah. Hello,
You know
Gabriel.
the one thing that typewriter has that printer doesn't have. You wanna know what?
It's the ding.
Nope.
Which one?
If you don't pay your subscription, HP will literally cancel your freaking thing. You can't use it.
Fair point.
Typewriter,
fair point.
cancel my 1912 printing machine, bitch. Try that.
Fuck. Screw all of the printing companies who just scam their customers with like ink and stuff like that.
I already finished college. You cannot hold me hostage. I already finished college.
You can't cancel my fucking typewriter is what you said.
Up yours, woke HP printers. Let's see who cancels who.
Up your electrical printers.
Why are you Scottish?
I was referencing that elevator thing.
Up your...
Oh, okay.
It's the elevator accent or something.
If you pause the video before they hit the iceberg, they survive. They start the world. Use Zawardo.
Scotland.
Sorry
Okay.
if I'm butchering the
You're
accent, but
alright.
yeah.
Jen got the strangest anecdotes. What do you mean? It's normal. What do you mean? Also, Gable, how you doing? Bungie. The fuck is Bungie?
Bunger.
The fuck is Bungie?
It's
The
a bunger.
bungalow. The bungalow.
Bungo.
And then you Bengal. The fuck is Bengal? Oh, it's bagel, not the baggly? The fuck? You alright, man?
I have no clue. I only know Bungar because of Smitty.
Let me
But yeah.
let me ask you a question. Which way heavier? A kilogram of steel or kilogram of feathers? That's right, it's a kilograms of
What are you
feathers.
talking about?
Because steel is heavier than feathers. Funny thing, actually, I did like watch Limmy like some stream, and I'm gonna be honest, it is really unhinged. Limmy is like a really unhinged person.
Nimi?
Limmy, Limmy is the
Limmy?
guy that Limmy is the guy that said that thing like kilogram of steel, kilogram of feathers. That guy's name is Limmy.
Oh,
I think he stream like
never.
he did stream, yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
wait.
Look,
Go,
I
go.
think it's called Limmy TV or something. I don't know where he like
Limi
stream.
TV.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
LIMMY TV. Yeah. Fake or fake? Okay,
Oh,
give
it's
me a
this
second.
guy. Yeah, it's this guy. It's this guy.
Yeah. Just go look at him.
Yeah,
Just go look
okay.
at him. He's a, like really unhinged. Like take, you know.
And especially the the Frosty Jacks vines.
Oh shit! I just closed the thing. Wait, what is this? Ship RMS state. Oh, of 45,000 register
Ship RMS
from
Titanic
Queenstown
of
to New
45,000.
11. Wait, what? On the 11th day of
11th
April.
of day of April.
I just realized it
of
says
1912.
This is 1912. It's 1912. Why is
Yeah,
it double?
because
What
it's
is
the
up with
beginning
that?
of the century. No, it's because that it's the beginning of the
No, it's not that. It's this 19 and then 1912. There's a
No,
19 in front of
because-
it.
Yeah, because again, it's the beginning of the 1900s, so
You don't need
it's
to.
gonna be
You don't
there
need this
for a
19.
while.
You don't need this 19. Just remove that.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's a bit too late now. These are all stamped. I'll be
I
honest
do not
with you.
know why
All
I
these
tried
are
to
stamped.
scroll down. I tried to scroll down. I do not know why I tried to scroll down. I thought it was like a text.
Oh my
I tried to scroll down. No. I was like trying to scroll down for like a while. I was like, wait, why is it not moving? And I was like, oh wait, I was looking at the video, not like a page. Listen,
Bro
man.
is scrolling down.
Listen. Okay, hear me out. Okay, hear me out. In my spare time, I like to go to Wikipedia to like read, weird stuff. Once I was reading a page on Moby Dick, and 2 hours later, I was reading a page about cock and ball torture. No joke, that is actually what happened. And I just genuinely have no idea how I went from Moby Dick to cock and ball torture. I just don't know. Okay? Listen, man, it's weird, okay?
How?
Don't
How the
ask me, man.
fuck?
I don't fucking know. I bet you watch Real. Real?
IG reels.
Oh, no, never mind. No, I don't. If that's the case, no. I don't have like Instagram, so yeah. Yeah, funny thing
That's
actually,
fair.
like I don't have Instagram. I don't have like TikTok or stuff like that. I don't have those.
That's fine.
Of course, Yen read about CB. Dude, don't say, dude, don't. What the fuck, bro?
Fucking Megalovania's fucking copyright is fucking stupid.
Don't do it, man. If you
No,
look
it's
in
below
her
5
head, there is
seconds.
a monkey with symbol. Close beta test.
What?
SCBT close beta test.
Close beta test. No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
You know, CBT, chill British tourists,
Fair.
I like them.
guess you can say
I like
that.
them. I love British people. They swears at you, they throw things at you, and if you don't do anything, they call you stupid or anything like that. I can't say the actual word because I don't want to get fucked up by YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's not say that.
Breakfast at breakfast. I can't read the rest. I'm stupid.
It's very blurry.
Yeah, no, it's from the video. I
Breakfast
didn't do
at
shit.
8 o'clock.
How do you read that?
It says breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then some oatmeal porridge and milk tea, coffee, sugar, milk, fresh bread, and butter. Herrings, potatoes, lingfish, and egg sauce
Lingfish?
or Irish.
It's lingfish.
Yeah,
And egg sauce.
yeah.
And
Egg
Irish stew.
sauce,
Irish stews.
Irish
According to
stew.
the day of the week.
Day of the week.
Dinner at 1. Oh, it actually says like number. Okay.
Yeah.
Soup. Soup can beef. Matlock? The hell?
Longfish.
Matlock? I don't know what that is.
Mutton, carrots, and turnips.
Uh,
Green peas, pork, or lingfish or lungfish.
I don't. This is ling. I do not know what the fuck is a lingfish. It's like British thing or something. I don't know.
Hang on.
And
let me search
sauce
that
with
up.
bread and
Lingfish.
potatoes. Plum pudding, rice pudding, stew. Okay, I did try rice pudding before. I'm not a fan of it, to be perfectly honest. Like, I get it's made out of rice, but I'm not a fan of it.
Oh, it's a lingfish. Yeah, lingfish. Yeah.
Rice pudding.
Do you know? It's like one of those longer fishes that can bend.
Redman, I would like you to know
It
that
looks like
long
an eel.
fish can bend. A lot of
Like,
fish can
I
bend.
did send. I sent it to you in DMs. That's what it looks
Okay, let me
like.
see. That is fucking Thomas. What the fuck is this piece of shit?
It looks like a fucked up eel. Yeah, I know, right, Gable?
Yeah, this is fucked up, yeah. That's fucked up. That's the most fucked up thing I've seen.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, go.
£7, which would be about $1,000.
Wait, stop. Note, for women and children, chicken broth or beef tea. The fuck is beef tea?
Beef tea
Is this
daily
beef tea?
at 11 a.m. and tea, coffee, and milk at all bears?
I don't. I think there's a comma between the tea coffee. I don't think you can just make tea and coffee at the same time. I mean, you can. I tried.
Unless-
It's not nice. I did mix it. It's not nice.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Fair point. At all. Oh, at all, not beer. Sorry, at all hours. There we go. It's just very, very.
Oh,
What's
okay.
that called? I can't really see it.
So chicken broth or beer tea daily at. Wait, hold
At
up.
11 a.m.
Hold up. For women and children, chicken broth or
Chicken
beer
broth.
or beer.
Beef.
Oh, beef tea.
Yes.
The fuck is a beef tea?
What?
It's
Now
beef
that
tea.
made me question. What the fuck? Beef tea.
The hell is the beef tea? Like you eat beef.
It is a real
with-
thing.
Okay, elaborate.
What is beef tea? Made from the juices when you get to cook beef.
Okay, so the
That's
oil
what it
inside
says.
so the oil and the fat inside of the beef. I see.
Yes.
Alright, makes sense.
So it's just a morning type of thing. Okay.
I think I feel like I was reading I remember something about when I was like younger. I remember reading about this like children book about like this actual guy. I forgot his name. So he was like a German guy who was like born in like fairly rich family, right? But he was like trying to turn vegetarian, and his dad was scolding him about like drink your beef something, and I was like, no, drink your meat something from like a bowl. I don't know, and I feel like weird about it because like I grew up poor. Don't get me wrong. I grew up like from a poverty, and I was like,
Understandable.
why do people drink beef? Why? Like, why do people drink meat? What shit? Why am I having a stroke? Why do people
Meat.
drink meat? And I was like, what is wrong with? Is this like rich thing people that I do? I do not know.
What
So
the
I was
fuck,
like-
mayonnaise?
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like too much for a transatlantic crossing, but at the time, that was about 2 months' wages for the average third-class passenger.
Huh.
And you got a lot for your money. In my view, nothing approaching the accommodation has been experienced in any of the previous journeys, and nothing but a pleasant voyage is anticipated. Though before you board, you need to undergo a physical examination from the ship's surgeon, Dr. William Francis Norman O'Loughlin, and his team. This was because for the vast majority of third-class
Instant
passengers,
soup.
this was meant to be a one-way ticket to America, where then they would start a new life. And American immigration required them to go through this examination before boarding. These regulations were also why the third-class passengers were not able to gain access to much of the ship. They were meant to be kept separate from the first and second-class passengers, and sometimes this was done with
And it's also
gates
very
that
close
were
space.
occasionally locked.
Yeah, this is
Though
from
these
Titanic
gates were not locked
movie.
on the night of the sinking in an effort to keep
Portable
the third class
cinema.
down. It just happened that they were often locked. Now, once you were on board, you'd probably head straight to your cabin, and for third-class passengers, you had two options. You may stay in one of the 84 two-berth cabins, which included electricity, a wardrobe, and even a sink with running water. Or there were also larger cabins with up to 6 bunks, and these were meant for either large families
For
or
6
more often
bunks.
for single travelers of the same sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was quite luxurious compared to other ships of the day, but
Huh.
it is still third class.
Looks
so their
like prison
placement
cell. I
on
mean,
the
it's a
ship
pretty good
wasn't
prison
It's
cell,
third
I guess.
class.
Usually
It's
either
third
at
class
the
after
third
all.
class.
stern or the very front of the ship, or the bow.
I mean,
And
you
those
get
are
a
the
lot
best
for
places on the
that,
ship
you know?
because those are the places where
Yeah.
you feel the most movement and vibration from the ship. When I worked on a cruise ship, my cabin was pretty much all the way at the bow, and I can tell you, you better like the feeling of being rocked to sleep at night. There were also 2 baths for third class, just 2. Most people washed in their room, just in their base.
That looks like a
But if
toilet,
you
man. What the
wanted to
fuck?
take a bath,
Yeah,
they
I
would
was
have
about
2
to
of them,
say.
one for
The
men
fucking
and
toilet
one for
bowl.
women. And I can
No,
venture
again,
to
wait, hold up. If that here's the thing, like,
most
hold up.
people washed in their room,
Okay,
just in
I was
their
gonna like question it, and it's like, wait, why is there a toilet in the middle of the room? And I was like,
No,
what do
it
you-
had
no,
to
no, no.
crouch.
Imagine if you like, just like one of your guys like sitting on the side, and he's like, at the night you have to like take a shit, so the guy just have to sniff it.
Nah.
That's nasty, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, nah.
No, I was gonna ask like the placement of this thing. Like, why is this here? And if this is where it is, and the door like is in the front of the thing, if you like took a dump and someone opened the door, they will stare at you. What are you gonna do after that? What?
This is like the most uncomfortable thing just to see that
This
if
is
you think
weird.
about it too.
So that's the thing. I was like, why is this toilet like there? Why of all place? It's just
Especially shaped like that.
it's just miserable, man. It's just whoever if this actually toilet that was miserable.
basin. But if you wanted to take a bath, they did have 2 of them, one for men and one for women, and I can venture a guess which one had the longer line. Now, even though you're barred from
Now that I think about it, if I play The Sims again, I wouldn't put like bunk bed like those like next to each other and put like the toilet in the middle.
No.
No, and then I put the door directly like stairs into the thing. So if you open that door,
Oh.
you know what you're getting yourself into. You know you gotta hold it, man. You gotta hold it, man. Go ahead, take
This
a
is like
shit. Go ahead.
This is like let's game it out type of
Uh-huh.
the parts
It's-
that you do
Sims.
have access to are really
Go
quite
ahead.
nice. For a bit of entertainment, you can go to the general room. It is
Hmm?
paneled and framed in pine and finished enamel white with furniture of teak. This will be the general rendezvous.
I mean,
of the
it's like
third-class
luxury ship as well,
passengers,
so
men,
they really
women,
keep
and
it
children,
up.
It's already
and
good
will
enough,
doubtless
yeah, for
prove
third
one
class,
of the
so.
liveliest rooms on the ship. The new field of endeavor is looked forward to with hope and confidence. The interval between the old life and the new is spent under the happiest possible conditions. Well, the happiest possible conditions were probably a few decks up in first class, but even so, it was very nice. The room had a piano, and it was a place where passengers often gathered with their own instruments to play live music and hold dances. Now, if you wanted a little peace and quiet, and you were a man, then you could go relax in the third-class smoking room. With linoleum floors, oak-paneled walls, and a bar that served ale and beer, it was a cozy place to smoke and play.
Hi Connie, how you
The chairs were
doing?
designed to be more comfortable.
Historical
but
Burr?
just
Yes,
like in the
Historical
general room,
Burr.
they would have been made of wood and
Sup,
not
Tony?
upholstered. And this was because, despite your checkup with the surgeon, it was just assumed that all third-class passengers had lice.
Yeah, like
Now, if you wanted a
Redman.
bit of
Redman has
fresh air,
lice.
You had a few places on board
No.
where you could go feel the ocean breeze. There were several spots to promenade, but the main third-class area was at the back of the
Could
ship
you
on
imagine the
poop
breeze
deck.
having the
It
ship
isn't
on like
funny,
on
it's
full
French.
speed, bro?
Poop deck comes from the French word la
Le
poupe,
poupe.
which referred
Yeah.
to the stern of the ship. Originally, it was an elevated level at the back of an old ship, and it was there to protect the stern from being swamped by large waves. But as ships got larger and didn't worry about big waves, the poop deck lost its real necessity, and it made it so that the Titanic was actually the last ship to be made with a true poop deck. So you've got your accommodations, your place to relax, but as anyone who's ever been on a cruise knows, the most important thing is the food. And on the Titanic, the third class got food, which seems like a no-duh kind of statement, but not long before, that wasn't always the case. Many times, the third class had to bring not only all of their own
What the
food,
fuck? Wait,
but
what
their
is this? What's up with this picture?
This is so very cramped. I mean, I
Wait,
get it's third class,
what's up
but
with-
it's very, very cramped.
What's up with... No, wait, hold up. The more I see this picture, the more weird it looks. What the hell?
I think it's just because that everybody's like in one room and the ship is rocking back and forth and everyone is like passing plates with each other, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I think they do have tables, but all of them are like occupied. So
Probably.
I don't
Time
know, I get
flies.
like a very
Oh, we're gonna be here for a
claustrophobic
while. Don't worry, man. I have like 4 videos for today. We're gonna be here for a while.
cutlery as well. But not on the Titanic. On the Titanic, even the third-class food was first class. We had a grand time on the Titanic. We got very good diet and had a very jolly time dancing and singing. We had every kind of instrument on board to amuse us. Where you ate was in one of 2 dining rooms on F deck, which was separated by the
Third-class saloon.
watertight bulkhead. The 2 saloons extending from ship's side to ship's side, well lighted with side lights, and all finished enamel white.
I mean,
The
at least
chairs are of
they
special
fixed the thing,
design.
right?
The position of this apartment, i.e. in the center of the ship, illustrates the wonderful strides made in passenger comfort in
Oh,
modern
wait, this is an
times.
ad.
Together, the rooms could accommodate 473 people, so you'd be assigned one of 2 seatings. As you entered, you'd likely hang up your coat and hat on hooks along the wall, which were decorated with posters of the White Star Line's ships and ports of call. Then you'd sit at communal
Ooh.
tables of about 20, which were lined in linen, and you would be served by a steward. Your food coming in on white china featuring the White Star Line logo. And you'd know what your options were ahead of time because every day the menu was printed
wait.
on a card in German, English, Finnish,
Oatmeal porridge.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one that we saw in the ticket.
Huh. Oh, yeah, you're right. Roast beef, brown
Except for
gravy,
marmalade and Swedish bread. Cabin
Marmalade.
biscuits.
I think cabin biscuit is supposed to be like, what, I don't know, hardtack or something?
Maybe, yes. Yeah.
Swedish bread. Huh. It's like all those Swedish people got a whole lot of bread. Eesh. Ham, eggs, fresh bread, butter, marmalade, tea, coffee.
A
The fuck
simple
is
cracker
the
to
hell
help
is jacket
settle
potato? Like,
passengers.
is this like the potato without you peeling it? The hell is jacket potato? How's that?
Oh. Oh no, it's the one that you split it open.
Okay.
and Swedish.
And it has like
And there were
either
4 meals
cheese
a day, breakfast,
and a
dinner,
little bit of
Inside of
a-
it. Oh,
and
yeah.
supper. On Titanic's
Yeah.
final day, breakfast consisted of, among other things, oatmeal porridge and milk, smoked herrings, jacket potatoes, ham and eggs, and plenty of fresh bread, butter, and marmalade with tea and coffee. Dinner, being the main meal of the day in third class and served around noon, would have started off with the rice soup that we're making today. After that, you'd have roast beef and brown gravy, sweet corn, boiled potatoes, and plum pudding with sweet sauce and fruit. For tea,
This
it
is
was
good,
cold
actually.
beef,
This is actually
cheese,
good.
pickles, bread and butter,
Very
stewed
healthy.
figs, and rice. And while pretty much everyone had an afternoon meal called tea at the time, the way that this tea happened was very different depending on your place in society. In 1914, a book called The Whole Art of Dining contemptuously described this version of tea. The tea of the English working class is the most eccentric of meals, and one of the greatest injuries a gourmet can possibly conceive. This incongruous kind of food may no doubt be quite nice and tasty for this class of people, but it must shock anyone endowed with refined Epicurean instinct. Well, I think it sounds just lovely. Less lovely sounding was
I
supper,
respect
which
the
consisted
accent, too.
of gruel, cabin biscuits, and cheese. Now, gruel gets a bad rap, and one of these days I'll do an entire episode on gruel, but in this case, it was probably similar to oatmeal that you made just using way too much water. And the cabin biscuits were a fancier version of hardtack.
See, I
In the
told you.
lifeboats, they had
Oh
a
my
fancy version of
God.
hardtack called Spillers and Baker's Pilot Biscuits. So the meals were simple, but they were
I heard
filling,
that
and they were probably a
tic-tacking
lot better than most of what the third class was
sounds
accustomed to.
crunchier
And
than I
White
thought
Star
it would
Line
be.
even made an allowance for kosher meat supplied and cooked for Jewish passengers as desired. And any complaint respecting the food supplied, want of attention, or incivility should be at once reported to the purser or chief steward. For purposes of identification, each steward wears a numbered badge on the arm. Now, supper ended at 10 o'clock, and if you were like most people on that April 14th, 1912, you probably went to bed shortly after. But at 11:40 p.m., you would
Oh,
be
yeah, you know what
rudely
happened.
roused from your slumber.
Yeah.
There were 4 of us sleeping in the same apartment. We had a bed of our own, and in every apartment there were 4 life belts, one for each person. At the time when the ship got struck, I heard a terrible noise. I jumped out of bed and told my comrades there was something wrong, but they only laughed. I turned on the gas, and to my surprise, there was a small stream of water running along the floor.
Well, that's not right.
I had only just dressed myself when the sailors came along shouting, "All up on deck, unless you want to get drowned." That was third-class passenger Daniel Buckley, and he was in one of those forward cabins. And if you were up
Oh, yeah,
there,
yeah.
you would have likely felt the iceberg as well, and very soon afterwards seen water on the floor.
Yeah,
Many
because
of the
that's
men up
where
there felt it, put
the
on their
cracks
life
got.
belts right away and headed down what
No, I
was
thought it
known
was
as
under.
Scotland Road.
No,
which
it's
was a
on your
long
side. It's on
corridor
your
connecting
side.
the front to the back of the ship. They went back to the third-class smoking room, which was all the way aft, but many of the men who were back there hadn't really felt the iceberg and definitely hadn't seen any water, and so they weren't taking it seriously. They mocked the men for wearing the life belts, and there were stewards who instructed the men to actually remove the life belts. Now, while the third class was not forced to stay below decks, they were encouraged to stay in one place and await further instructions from the crew. But as the crew went out onto deck and started loading lifeboats, they got distracted and never went back down to tell the third class passengers what to do. And by the time the third class
And
passengers
especially they locked
realized
them.
this, it was too late and the last of the lifeboats was gone. Though Daniel Buckley, having seen the water in his room, did not wait for instructions.
Yeah,
went up-
he saw the writing in the wall and just he immediately know what's coming. Dude got lucky. I said he did get
On
lucky.
deck and met a
Yeah,
sailor
the
who asked
dude,
me to
like,
help him
got
lower the
lucky on
boat.
there.
The sailor said, "Take a chance yourself." I did, as did my friend. But the officers came along and ordered us off the boat. A woman said, "Lay down, lad. You are somebody's child."
Making
She
any
put a
food
rug
yet?
over
I
me
already
and the
made
boat
food.
went
I
up.
already finished it
So I
actually.
was saved. Gershon Cohen, another third-class passenger, said that he didn't have a life belt in his room, but he wasn't that worried because when he went to the general room, everyone was dancing and singing, and nobody seemed that worried. It was only when he too went out on deck and saw
No, you the
ice
chef.
all over
No,
the
he's
place
not yet. No,
that
no.
he realized the gravity of the situation. He actually climbed up onto the first class deck and started searching for a life belt, which took him 30 minutes before he found one. I had just put it on when the boat tilted right over and a lot of people fell into the water and were drowned. I clung to the railings of the deck for dear life, and I was about 200 feet above the level of the water. Also below him was the very last lifeboat leaving the Titanic, and he tried to get on it by jumping out 5 feet to the lowering rope.
Okay. Just
Could you
in case you
imagine the
don't, no, in case you don't know, don't jump into water. Like seriously, because it can kill you, and that's already really painful as well. Do not jump into water.
Unless you're experienced as swimmer. But
I don't think.
Still?
I don't think that's saying anything. When you
wait,
just,
no.
you're just
Wait.
instructed
If it's
not to
5
jump
feet
into water.
tall, if it's 5 feet tall, then yeah, you're not supposed to do that. So
Especially like don't spread your body. Like do not spread your body. You'll just like die because apparently like the water tension, the surface tension of the water will not like hold you. It just you splatter. That's it. Imagine like how do you call you trying to jump into like Scrooge McDuck, bank vault. Yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
that. It's just solid. It's just solid water. Okay. Also, Max your face. Okay.
But the rope cut through his gloves and his hands, and he too fell into the water. After being
Yeah.
5 minutes in the water, it seemed hours, I was dragged
It's
into
cold.
the last lifeboat.
It's not
There was
the,
nearly
it's not the
all
cold.
women
It's the
and
salt,
children
man.
And 3 men. I was given one of the oars
Salt
to pull the
and
boat.
cold.
We had to pull very hard because the Titanic was sinking, and suction
it's
would
pulling you
pull us
down, yeah.
all down. We know a lot less about what was happening on the Titanic during the very
Oh yeah, the
last
suction
minutes.
is like
There
the
are a
air
few stories
pockets.
from survivors who were pulled from the water. One tells of a
A very
third-class
bad thing.
passenger running through the general room on his way to try to get out of the ship. and the room was empty except for a woman and her young child. She was sitting at the piano, playing and singing a song to her child, trying to keep them calm.
Yeah, I didn't know what's
She
coming.
being resigned to their fate. Now, of the over 700 third-class passengers,
It's not the crash itself that kills people. It's not that. It's the coldness from the water itself. That's the one that kills. Because like even if you survive the initial crash, right? It's
Yeah.
you have nothing to stand on. You have nothing to stay away from the water. And even if you stay away from the water, it's in the Pacific in the
You'll
middle
still
of
freeze to
nowhere.
death.
Yeah, and it's in the middle of nowhere. It's darkness all around. Like it's not like in the movie where like there are at least like some lighting. No, it's just pure black. It's just pitch
No.
black. You got nothing. And that's actually like something I like really like look back upon and like really like about the movie, right? The movie actually shows everyone on that ship, especially like the technician and like all the electrician in that movie, really trying to keep the
Yep.
light on because that's the only thing you can see. That's the only way you can see the light of the Titanic
Yep.
itself while it's sinking, right? While it's dipping. That's the only thing you can see. You can't see anything else. So when the ship finally cracks, it's pure black. That's it. Your last beacon of hope is gone. You can't see anything from there.
And not just that, because they're keeping the lights on. Of again, it's just keeping the beacons and also the light
Mhm.
as a signal for help when it was sinking, because that is where Carpathia, which is the rescue ship that
Mhm.
was on the way to save the said passengers, but it was a bit too late.
No,
So
it's like
after the
1 or
light,
2 hour, yeah. 1 hour or 2 hour later
yeah,
they come. Yeah, even if that ship managed to stay long, yeah, it won't help. Because the only reason that ship stays long, their hope is that whatever's coming, they see that ship. Because it's going up.
mhm.
It's like slowly rising up. They're not buying time. They know that ship's gonna sink. They just want that ship to be seen. That's it. Once that ship's
Yeah,
light
it's
is
just
gone,
gone.
there's nothing you can see. You can't see shit. It's just darkness. So
And
yeah,
you're just going
that's the messed
blind
up
as
part.
the Carpathia.
That's the messed up part. You're in the middle of the dark, like in the dark, cold, wet, and the only thing you're waiting is just death. It's either death or some ship coming up. That's it. It's one of those two.
Yeah,
That's
and
messed
not
up.
even that. Imagine that Carpathia is not able to like what's that called, rescue the survivors in time in those said lifeboats, because those lights that the guards had is not enough to signal a beacon,
Mhm.
honestly speaking.
It's not. So that's the only thing. You just hope you're not surviving that. If how do you call it? If the help doesn't like arrive any sooner, you're gone. Even if you're on the lifeboat, you're gone. There's nothing
No
coming.
survivors,
There's no
no
there's
one to tell the
your
tale.
only source of light, your only beacon is gone. You're screwed. So yeah, that's the messed up part. Even if you survive that, you're not gonna survive for long.
536 died that night, more than any other class. Though it was actually the crew that suffered the most loss, and we'll do an entire episode covering the crew at large. But in the next mini episode, I'm going
If you
to
guys wanna watch
I'm
the
going to talk
thing,
about one
yeah,
crew
it's in
member
the
specifically,
description. The
baker,
video's in the description.
This guy from the 1997
Oh,
movie.
it's this
But
one.
before we move on
He
from
looks
third
eerily
class, I wanted
similar
to
too
tell
with the actor.
I mean, it's supposed to be like a betrayal, but that's not the actual thing. Oh, by the way, yeah, when that ship like goes up like those, the light is already gone, right? The light is already
Yeah.
gone. So most people that actually did survive the initial crash and like on the lifeboat cannot even see that. Cannot even see like the ship itself
So
tilting like that.
that's also a scary thought. Never
Like if
thought of
if
that,
you're on
honestly
if you're on the
speaking.
ship itself, right? But I mean, like you know the ship's going down. You're literally like, holding on to it. But people on the lifeboat, they can't see the ship itself. They cannot see it. That's why
The
when
o-
the guy managed to like get inside of the lifeboat, the how do you go like the officer or like the guy who's like leading the boat itself tell them to like, row as fast
yeah.
as they can because they cannot see it. They're just hoping they're not in the epicenter of it.
one more first-hand account, and I was actually not
And the only
going
thing
to
that you feel that
because
it's already tilting up
really
and
strange
sinking
and
is just the
can seem
gravity
almost
pulling you
callous,
down.
but after reflecting on it, I realized that it shows an aspect of humanity that none of the other accounts have. It's a letter from Bertha Mulvihill to her sister Maud, and Bertha wrote this on the Carpathia, which was the ship
And
that
this
picked up the
rescue ship, yeah.
survivors after
Rescue
the
ship, yeah.
actual sinking, is when she's writing this letter. And I don't know if she was in shock or just disbelief or what, but it's fascinating. Dear Maud, experience is great. I'm fine and dandy, never better. What time did you hear of the disaster? I am so glad I was in it. I shall never forget.
I feel like this is like
I
fear
never saw
mixed with
such
like
a sight as when
excitement.
the
Yeah.
dear old Titanic sank. She broke in 2 pieces. The scene was awful. Don't think me mad for being so happy to witness the sight. I am awfully happy, like the night I was born. Never felt happier in my...
Yeah, I feel like this wasn't like genuinely like fear, but the fear is like overtaken by, seeing all this happen. You are
Yeah.
dealing
I
with
mean,
something that
honestly-
has never happened in this planet before. That's the thing.
It's a large ass fucking ship.
Mhm.
It just broke in 2 pieces, and it just happens in just few seconds or minutes. Sorry, yeah,
It
a few
takes
minutes.
like a few minutes for this. It floats after it broke. It floats for a few like minutes before finally sinking down. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It takes a
happens
while.
all so fast.
This ship like tries its best. That's the thing. The ship literally tries its best to like hold on. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the one of the messed up part is that how do you call it? The tips itself. What killed the ship? It's the tipping. When it finally tips, right? It forces the gravity of it forced the gravity to break the ship in half. If it's not from
The
that,
prob-
the ship will just go
Yeah.
down. It's just like going to go slide down.
The
Still,
only
it's terrifying.
additional problem on that is that after the initial hit, it is where that damage started to spread more, and even like the watertight doors did not even help to
It's
suppress that too
It's
as
the
well.
watertight door. It's the watertight door itself that's actually like caused the ship to like tip because it's still the water, right? Which means only
Yes,
one side of it it's so heavy. The other side's not.
Yes.
That's what's causing that.
Yeah, and however, those watertight doors also, I mean, that water also spread through the engines too, which halted the engine. Only they can do is just wait for help.
I mean, Redman, at that point, do you really wish the engine to like go?
At least half of
Where
the
are you
engine
going?
working.
Where are you going? The engine is the ship is dead. What do you want it to do? Move?
No. No. It's like, okay. So if the watertight doors actually manage to suppress the what's that called, the water itself, at least half of the engine is able to work. It can take like at least another day to actually reach New York to assess the damage, but no, the water has made it into the engine.
Redman, the ship is bleeding. It's bleeding, and you force it to like walk. It's bleeding. The fact that it's still standing for like a couple of hours is already a miracle. The ship is bleeding by its stomach, man. The only thing you want at this point is just to keep this ship breathing. That's it. If the ship is breathing, it opens its eyes. It's still responding. The fact that it's not, that's the fucked up part.
I remember also seeing like there was a video saying, what if the Titanic has hit the iceberg head on instead of like on the side or the starboard?
Funny you mentioned that because I saw like a what you call it, like a crack video of like the Titanic, and it just cruised too fast. It broke the iceberg. It broke it again, and then it reached New York. It hits like how do you call it, the Statue of Liberty. It just keeps going.
What?
Yeah, it just okay. I have to show you that later actually.
Okay.
It just cracked. Okay, the entire thing is just crack.
Fair. Okay.
Mhm.
my life. Go figure. Now, I could tell countless stories from the third class on that fateful April night, but as it happens, it's time to spice up.
Man, you guys
our
are crazy in
rice.
the chat. The
So
hell?
once the rice is nice and soft,
Yeah, I see
add in
that.
the salt, cayenne pepper, and the mace, and then pour in the cream. And stir it while you bring it back to a boil for 1 minute. And then it's ready to serve. And here we are, rice soup as served to third-class passengers aboard
I mean,
the
it is
Titanic.
food.
It smells really good. It's so interesting because it's kind of soup and it's kind of porridge. It's like in this kind of weird middle place, especially once you add the cream. But let's give it a shot.
Soup is soup.
Yeah, super soup.
Oh, weird. Interesting. So the mace really hits you first. It's that and the chicken stock. Those are the dominant flavors.
Trash. The fuck?
Which is interesting for a soup.
No, it's not the rich cuisine. It's for like common folk.
And then after a couple seconds,
It's their
you
class
don't get
again.
the flavor of the cayenne, but you get the heat of the cayenne, which is really interesting, especially from food of this time period. You don't really think of it as spicy, but it is. I have to say, it's weird, but it's also good, and wow, it would be so filling. And, you know, it's the first of quite a large meal. But the meals
Oh, it's like
after this, we're
like
going to cover the other
not appetizer.
classes.
What do you call
They
it?
get huge. This is a tiny meal in comparison to what we're going to cover in future episodes. So I hope you're as excited as I am about
I mean,
Titanic month.
if
wanted to
I
do it
was
for a
eating
very
food
long time,
and
so
it's just
I'm
that
very glad
small
it's
plate,
here.
I'll kick the shit
And
out
I
of
will
you if
see
that's my
next
only
time
food.
on Titanic month on Tasting History.
Fair.
Okay. On the next video.
Yippee!
Yeah, if
In a
I'm
second.
going on
It
a
is an
cruise, if
appetizer.
I going to like a cruiser, and you just give me like that tiny ass food, right? And you tell you what this entire like breakfast. Yeah, I won't be mad. I'll be absolutely mad. What is this shit, bro?
Waiter!
Because here's the thing, right? I'm okay with like eating porridge. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with like eating
Yeah.
porridge. I grew up eating porridge. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that not to that amount, man. That's just disrespectful.
I like a whole bowl with that, please.
Also,
Along with ginger.
Also, I just saw the name. There's like two Jens on top of that. It's like two, like Jen and Jen.
Jen.
There's like two of them on there.
Imagine that's one of them is you.
No, it's not me. I'm too poor.
Unless.
Anyway, next video. No.
Yippee!
Okay.
When most people think of the Hindenburg, they think of this. But I have two questions.
Well, that changed things.
Okay. All right. Video's over. Let's go.
They just changed
Oh my
change from one disaster to another.
Oh my god. If people think of Hindenburg, they think of this. Kaboom! Video's over. And just the Patreon
Kaboom!
supporters.
Funny thing, actually.
Just the
Okay.
Patreons.
Something I found out recently, right? There is a certain person that if had they entered Hindenburg back then, right? It would cancel the entirety of Marvel.
What do you mean? How?
I forgot his name. I don't think it's Stanley, but there was this like one Marvel comic like creator back then who wants to like having a ticket, buy a ticket, right, for him and like his wife, right, to ride the Hindenburg, travel with the Hindenburg, but because something happened, they cannot get a ticket, so they cancel the plan. The thing is, that's the day that Hindenburg blew up. You know, so
I think the great grandfather of Stanley then.
I don't think it's grandfather, considering the fact that Hindenburg just like blew up something in like 1949. Yeah, I think it's not that old compared to like Stanley. So
Yeah,
yeah.
1940 something. So.
One, why was this giant piece of Nazi propaganda, because that's actually what it was, floating over New Jersey in the first place? And two, what did they eat? Well, I'm going to answer the first question a little bit later, but the answer to the second question is really fancy food, like Pears Condé with chocolate sauce. So thank you to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video as we dine.
I'm sorry, Max. I have to skip
the
I have to skip the train later.
You know, honestly speaking, anything about sponsorship of like healthy foods, I accept
So first
that.
off, if this topic is interesting to
What the fuck is that thing in the back? What is that? Are you saying that?
I'm not sure if that's a Pokemon or something like that.
I think that's supposed to be a Pokemon. Max seems like the guy that I actually enjoy Pokemon.
you, then might I suggest this book? It's Dan Grossman's book on the Hindenburg. It's wonderfully illustrated.
Okay, now that I think about it, I don't
That's a
think
large
YouTube gonna like care about this, considering the fact that this is also like educational. So I don't really think they'll care about
Yeah.
it.
He knows absolutely
And
everything.
But
especially
also, like-
Hindenburg is also mentioned.
Also, like I'm a small channel, so I don't think they care. Like, what the fuck do I know?
About the subject, and it's just really well done. So I'll put a link to that and his website in the description. So
Okay,
the
nice.
largest rigid airship ever constructed, the Hindenburg, named after Germany's president Paul von Hindenburg, had just over 1 year of flying under its belt when, filled with 7 million cubic feet of hydrogen, it exploded over an airport.
Yeah, I
That is
wonder
the
the
mistake.
fucking why.
That is the fucking mistake right there.
But in that short time, it played host to some of the most wealthy and powerful people in the entire world.
It's a
And the
Pokemon.
man who was in charge of feeding all of these wealthy and powerful people was 25-year-old JeanneHamada. The menus he created were meant to convey the flavors of
It is
Germany,
Pokemon, huh?
but often in a French style, which was the fancy style that his customers were accustomed to. One such menu given to passengers when they booked the flight
Grab Zeppelin?
Zeppelin? Rose Gosling?
Rose Gosling.
I cook.
That was so
cook.
bad, man. That's so bad. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I know. I'm sorry. No.
Ryan, someone,
Rose
our Grab
Gosling.
Zeppelin. Rose Gosling. Feel me drive.
There's food inside.
Lumigdas.
No.
Okay. With mixed salad and applesauce, pire conde with chocolate sauce, coffee, fresh fruit, sour, pâté à la reine, roast filet of beef, mixed salad, cheese. Cheese. It's just cheese. It's just a block
It's
of
just
cheese.
cheese.
What
Imagine
are you, fucking
whole
rat?
fucking wheel of cheese.
They just give you the wheel of cheese, just like here, cheese.
You hear it.
Dude, if I went to like a place and just like, you know what, I order mixed salad and like cheese, and they just give like a roll wheel of cheese, I'll just stare at the guy. I don't even say a word. I just gotta stare at the guy.
Featured dishes such as
Cheese.
beef
Cheese.
broth with marrow dumplings, Rhine salmon à la Graf Zeppelin, roast Gosling, la Meunière, and a
Roast
dessert
Gosling is
I
fucking me.
cook.
I hate it,
with
man.
chocolate sauce. And that last one sounded so delicious, that's the one that I decided to make.
Cheese coffee.
Now,
You're
before she
disgusting.
worked
Put
on
it away.
Zeppelin's, Maya was a chef at the Ritz Hotel in
What the fuck is that background? What are you seeing? That there's like ghostly
That's
apparition
a
over
statue.
there.
That's a statue.
What the fuck was that?
It's a
I
statue.
look like statue. That's fucking
Paris.
ghost.
And at
You
that
know what,
time,
those,
they were still
Greek
cooking
statues,
from
man.
the recipes of Auguste Escoffier. So I went to find Escoffier's recipe for pears condé, and at first
Ow,
it
what the
seemed
fuck?
rather simple. Poire condé. Very small pears,
Poire
which are
condé.
carefully peeled and shaped, are most suitable for this preparation.
Tetos
Those of
y-
medium size should be cut in half. Cook them in vanilla-flavored syrup, then proceed as for abricot condé. Recipe 4510.
Apricot.
So then you have to flip through and find the recipe for abricot condé, which starts out, on a round dish, prepare a border of vanilla-flavored prepared rice for sweet dishes. Recipe 4470. So then you have to flip to
Can you
recipe
just tell me there
4470,
now? What
and
the
after
hell?
a
Just
while,
tell-
it turns out you actually have to find 5 different recipes to make this one dish. But I suppose that's how he fit 5,000
It's just like, how do you call it? You know, we're gonna make an easy food for breakfast for today, and it's like, here's a chicken that I have prepared before, and if you wanna know how to,
4,000.
yeah, just tell me then, man. Just tell me how to make it now.
Damn, this quality of
wanna know
life
it
book
now.
sucks.
This book sucks, bro.
recipes.
It needs to be
and his
updating with
cookbook,
quality of life
mine, I think, has
update.
65. I do have signed copies available, links in the description.
Wait, he has the same
Suffice
copy.
it
What
to
the hell?
say, this turned out to be a really complex dessert, and it's actually best made over the span of 2 days. So you might want to grab yourself a nice cup of coffee to keep you going from today's sponsor, Trade.
Okay, real talk. Actually, I made a coffee before the stream, but my stupid ass.
So do I.
No, my stupid ass drink it before I stream, even though I was planning to drink it while streaming.
Well, I guess we just need to get that energy up.
I
Mine is
listen.
already
I can't
finished.
hold myself, man. I love coffee. I can't hold myself. Okay, that's just that's a sin I have to bear. Okay.
Dude, I will definitely have a caffeine crash right after this.
I mean, did you say you're
But let's
going to
do
sleep
it.
after this?
No, not this one. No. You know what caffeine
Okay.
crash is, right?
I know what that is, man.
I've had that multiple times a day.
I feel like hang on. I should have like a picture or something. Hold up.
What's up?
Okay. So maybe I shouldn't just like. Okay, wait. This. Can I get like a?
Also, chat. If you get like, if you're like super sleep deprived as I am, and then you drink coffee,
Hang on.
you'll get like a caffeine crash. 100%.
Like I said, Redman. Yeah, of course
Yes.
I know what the caffeine crash is. Okay, I know what that is.
Uh-huh. Wait, what?
Check the stream.
Light as naturally as she breathed. Man.
All right. Anyway.
Trade is a coffee delivery service that makes it
Okay.
simple to find. So whether it's
I'm gonna
purchasing
skip it for
coffee,
now.
it all down into one, which is essentially this video. But the first thing we need to do is actually make not the pears, but the rice. It's essentially a vanilla rice pudding. So for this, what you'll need is one heaping
I'm not a
cup
fan
or
of rice
250
pudding.
grams of Carolina rice. He calls for Carolina rice because it plumps up really nice, but it's kind of hard to find, so you can use any good long-grain risotto-worthy rice. 1.5 cups or 300 grams of sugar, a pinch of salt, 1 liter of whole milk, 6 egg yolks, a half vanilla pod or 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla paste, and 3.5 tablespoons or 50 grams of butter. First, rinse the rice and then add it to some boiling water for about 3 minutes, and then pour it out and rinse it again in warm water. Then in a wide pan, add the milk, sugar, salt, and butter, and also scrape the seeds from the vanilla pod in and toss the actual pod in as well.
So,
then set it on the stove and bring it to a boil, and once it starts boiling, remove the vanilla pod and add in the rice, stirring it around to make sure it's evenly distributed. Then let it return to a boil, and as soon as it does, set the lid on the pan and set it in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit.
has anyone actually watched Max and actually do like the recipe?
Minutes. I found that is not long enough.
I'm pretty sure people did, yeah.
About 40 minutes, because you do want it to get most of the
Wait,
liquid up into
what do you
the
mean?
rice. Once it's ready, take it out of the oven and working quickly, add the egg yolk and stir it with a fork. You want to be gentle with it because you don't want the rice grains to break up.
Was that rice?
Then let it cool to room temperature. It'll start to thicken as it does, and then put it in the fridge and let it chill, preferably overnight. Also overnight, he wants you to take some candied fruit, cut up small, and soak or macerate it in Kirschwasser. Kirschwasser is a brandy made from Morello cherries, and while it does have a slight cherry flavor, it's not sweet at all. Now, he doesn't
This is gonna cost like $70 per bottle.
To use in this. I think all versions of the dish kind of do different things.
I don't think it's alcohol, man.
You can use any
I think it's
candied
just
fruit,
like
but
good
later
alcohol.
on, we're going to need candied cherries, so you can use those here as well. So that is all of day one.
Yeah,
Now,
this is
before we get
extract.
to day
He
two,
did say
I
this
wanna tell
smells
you a
like
little
it.
bit about your ride on the Hindenburg.
I don't want to write the blame.
So I think we need to address the elephant in the room, and that would be the tail fins of the Hindenburg. As I said, this ship was basically a giant floating piece of Nazi propaganda. Following its flyover
It's an ad,
of the
yeah.
Olympics in
This is an
1936,
ad.
it became the talk of the international
and
community.
it's like...
And Germany used it as a way to show that it had bounced back from its defeat in World War I. Germany had produced the world's largest airship. And at 245 meters, it floated along at around 78 miles per hour, delivering passengers from Frankfurt, Germany to New Jersey in just 67 hours. That was half the time that the typical luxury liner of the day, like the Queen Mary, could get you there. But the Queen Mary held over 2,000 passengers,
what the fuck was that?
whereas the Hindenburg, even after in 1937 they added more places for people to sleep, held about 70. And even with a one-way ticket price of 1,000 Reichsmarks, which is about $9,000 in today's money, it just wasn't enough people to actually make the Zeppelin turn a profit.
I mean, it's supposed to be like a luxury, right?
It was a symbol of German ingenuity. The German government helped prop it up and gave it money just so they could keep this huge piece of Nazi propaganda floating over cities like Boston and New York. But since it didn't,
it's just like I feel like it's literally just like how do you call it? The stick measuring contest, basically. And yeah.
That's
Come
one
on.
way.
This is just stick measuring contest.
Fine.
Listen.
Fine. Okay.
Your Queen Mary can carry people, but it's
Yeah.
small. Look at her big. Like basically that.
Look
It's
at
like,
us,
look at the
big.
big,
This
Mr. Big
big.
over there. Hey, so
This
German,
big.
so Germany pull up on Twitter.com and says his dong is this big, and I say that's
This
disgusting. So,
I love that you
so
know
I'm
that
going to
reference.
call and post on
Thank you.
Twitter.com.
Thank you.
Say, Germany, you have a small dick. It's the size of this walnut, except way smaller.
Oh my god. Thank you for the reference.
I hate it.
Oh.
I hate how it actually is. I feel like that.
Comes to make an announcement.
I think that's the kind of reason why. That's the kind of reason why. Yeah.
Maybe,
They just
yeah.
the measuring contest.
Yeah. I'm glad that we used that as a
Oh.
reference for it.
Big dick, but no.
This.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, stop.
All right, let's go. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I hate this thing, man. I hate it. I don't know
But hey,
why,
at
but
least
every
we
single time
referenced
I see this blimp, it reminds me of like that scene in like Indiana Jones where they try to like ride a blimp. I don't know why I keep thinking that was the Hindenburg. I don't think that's the Hindenburg, considering it looks different.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it just I don't know why I keep feeling it was. That's the thing. It was all in
My
you.
blimp is superior.
It's superior.
Thanks thrice.
All right, enough talk. Time for blimp entrance test.
Oh god.
Let's see who blimps is stronger. I don't think
Oh,
US used blim.
no.
I don't think US used blim. That's the thing.
Let's see who blimps the strongest.
Your blim looks strong. Let me fight it. Oh my god, I
Alright.
hate it.
Let's go.
Funny thing actually, like how do you call Redman, you did play Battlefield 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I did.
isn't like the blim in like that game was like a Goliath or something? Like similar to like
It
Dreadnought?
is. Yes.
I
Yes,
do
it
not
is.
know how a blim can be considered like a Goliath. Like I get that it's big, but it's big because of, you know, helium inside of it. Or nitrogen, whatever.
Yes.
It's just big because of that. It's not like a Dreadnought. Dreadnought is literally like, you know, war. It's just you just bring war into a war. A blim, you pop a air, it's just gone. The entire thing is gone.
Thrice, please.
My big blim. Your blim be small. Me no likey. Talk to someone else. Oh my god. I don't know. My chat is like really. You guys are perfect. You guys know that. I just realized my chat is all perfect. You know that. You including Redman. You're no excuses as well. You guys are perfect. You know that.
It was really there just to impress wealthy foreigners. A ride on the Hindenburg was really top draw.
They'll let you ride the blimp.
Like being in a dream, like a flying first-class hotel, a 5-star hotel.
Isn't
Everyone
also
on
riding
board
a
felt the
blimp
same way.
like this one
And it
is
really
very
was,
quiet
in many
too?
ways,
No,
just
no.
wind?
all because a 5-star earthbound hotel doesn't need to worry
Earthbound?
about how much things weigh, whereas on an airship, you really have to worry about that. For passengers, this was most evident in their cabins. They were
Hermetic roof.
Spartan in decor, and rather
That is
than
like a
king-size
small, like
mahogany
it's
bed
like
with
That is what I'm
one
saying. If
on
you
floor.
pop
even
if
the
you pop
millionaires
the balloon,
slept
it's
in
gone.
little
The thing
more
is
than
just drop.
cots made of aluminum in bunk bed setup. The original rooms on the ship were all on the interior, and so you had no windows. And while you did have a plastic water basin with running hot and cold
At
water,
least there is no toilet in the
or
middle of the room.
showers, or using the toilet,
And now this thing
it was
actually
all
looks
done
like a sink.
communally. There were
And
like
instead of
6
toilet.
passenger toilets, 7 on
Yeah.
the entire ship. In 1937, they did add 9 more cabins on B deck, which did have window access, but you were still sharing a toilet with a Rockefeller.
I
Now,
mean,
even though you might not have a window in your
it's
room,
better, I guess.
it was more than made up for by the massive slanted windows that ran the length of both sides of A deck. Gazing out the windows was one of the highlights of a voyage on the ship because unlike an airplane that flew at 30,000 feet high, and so looking down you could just see little tiny things, the Hindenburg would glide along between 600 and 700 feet above the ground. So not only could you see the landscape passing by just under you, but as you crossed the North Atlantic, you could be so close to things like icebergs that you could almost reach out and touch them.
I don't think you want to touch the iceberg considering the previous topic we just covered.
Exciting view was passing
Yeah,
by
that
Sydney
too as
skylines,
well.
where you might be level with the top
Didn't
of the
this also
Empire
cross the
State
Atlantic
Building.
Ocean?
And since it
Yeah,
was
that's why it
floating,
says
there was never any serious
transatlantic
turbulence,
blim.
and the only sound was the distant murmur
Fair.
of the 4 Daimler-Benz diesel engines. Now, should you get bored just staring out of a window for hours at a time, there were other things on board to keep you busy. It was hard sometimes to realize during
Huge
the
is
trip
best.
that one
Super
was
size
not on an
America, what the
ocean liner,
fuck?
but instead high in the air. The spacious social hall, dining hall, riding saloon, and even the diminutive bar and smoking room all conveyed the illusion of a seafaring craft. Yes, people in the 1930s were avid letter writers, and so they had an entire room just dedicated to the craft. And should you actually want to post a letter from the Hindenburg, they had a Hindenburg stamp, and the mail would be sent as soon as you landed. Now, if letter writing isn't your bag, then the starboard lounge on A deck might be more your speed.
Oh, they're sleeping. I
Decorated
just
in a
realized.
contemporary style, which
Yeah.
frankly reminds
I
me of
mean,
a
it is
hospital
the
waiting room, the main wall of the lounge
main lounge,
depicted a large map of the world marked with the roots of history's great explorers. In the corner was a piano, but as weight was such a concern, it was custom built by the Blüthner Piano Company and was made of a lightweight aluminum and copper alloy weighing only 356 pounds.
Imagine
which
the
isn't that heavy
vibrations out of
considering it's
that.
a piano. Now, this was the
Piano, though.
1930s, and so people couldn't be expected not to smoke, even if they were in a giant balloon filled with hydrogen.
Yep.
So they custom
Yeah,
built
just- yeah.
a smoking room down on B deck. You'd go down
And
You don't wanna
still
smoke
made it,
next
so-
to
single
nitrogen,
electric
man.
lighter
It
from the
blow up.
steward, and then enter the smoking room, which was fitted with a double airlock and was kept pressurized at
Damn
a higher level than
airlock
the rest
for
of
the
the ship
smoking room.
to keep
Of
any
course
leaking
they
hydrogen
would.
out of that room. This is also where the
I
bar
mean,
Yeah,
is, and so it's no
this
surprise it was
is
one of the most
where you
popular spots on
enter.
the
If you
ship.
smoke, you enter this. We will seal you inside until you finish with your business.
One passenger recalled that the smoking room is the rendezvous before and after meals, presided over by Max, a steward who makes excellent cocktails
Hey, that's the
and
name of the
watches
guy.
everyone like a hawk to see that none inadvertently leaves with a lighted cigar or cigarette. The doors are so arranged that not more than one person can enter or leave at the same time. Then, after your cocktail and cigarette, it was time to eat. Now, there was only one dining room
I was about
on
to
the
say.
ship. It was on
I
the
thought
deck
he was going to
and
say it was
spanned
time
the
to die
entire
because it
length
boom.
of the port
Sorry.
side, about 47 feet
Oh,
long. and
no,
13
do not
feet
say
wide.
it, Neko.
The walls
Do
were
No.
not say
decorated
it.
with paintings on silk wallpaper which depicted scenes from Graf Zeppelin's flights
not
to
say
South
it.
America. And
Oh,
the chairs
tilapia,
made
ban
from
tilapia.
oak
Redman, ban tilapia now. Kick his ass. Get his ass.
like tubular aluminum were upholstered in red. 3 meals a day were served on fine blue and white porcelain china, crystal stemware, and the best sterling silver available. Then the tables were lined with white linen and decorated with fresh flowers. I find it a little odd that they were so concerned about weight and yet had sterling silver and crystal, which weigh quite a bit, but I guess they were deemed necessary. What was not deemed necessary were napkins, because you only got one napkin, not per meal, per voyage. When you arrived on the airship, you would receive an envelope with a white linen napkin in it, and that thing followed you around to all of your meals.
Wait,
Now,
it
with
has a
your
name.
single white napkin
Wait,
ready
what the
to
hell?
go, out came
Yeah.
the food. You
Wait,
would
I
receive
think it has a
an
name.
envelope with a white
Is this
Loose
her?
shift.
No, that's not that. Is it her? There is. I think it's supposed to be named. Her is sir or master. This is
Yeah.
more like a specific guy. The hell?
linen napkin in it, and that thing followed you around to all of your meals. Now, with your single white napkin ready to go, out came the food. The ship carried more than 2 tons of food per crossing, which included 400 pounds of fresh meat and poultry, 220 pounds of fish, 440 pounds of potatoes, 800 eggs, and 40 gallons of milk, among other things like live lobsters and, being German, 330 pounds of sausage and cold cuts. They
Sausage,
also
see, I
carried
told you.
hundreds of bottles of German beer and wine. These seem to have been the most popular drinks on board, but they did have a fully stocked bar with a number of cocktails, including a signature cocktail called the LZ-129 Frosted Cocktail. LZ-129 Hindenburg being the
Sounds
full
like a
official
gun.
name of the ship.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
frankly,
like
as this
caught
cocktail
gun.
seems to have just been equal parts gin and orange juice, I kind of feel like the bartender was phoning it in on that one. Now, that was one of the only things that you ever had to pay for, were these cocktails, because everything else was included. All the food, all the other drink, everything. You didn't even need to carry around cash to tip, because as a brochure that you'd get told you, the personnel on board is not permitted to accept tips at any time. At meals, this personnel would include the chief steward and about 6 different servers. Each day from 8 to 10 a.m., the servers would set out a breakfast of eggs, sausage and ham, assorted rolls and pastries, coffee and tea. And at this meal, the
Nice.
passengers would receive a menu letting them know what they were going to have for luncheon and dinner. The meals are delicious. Luncheon consisted of soup, fish, chicken breast with rice, peas, asparagus tips, ice cream, cake, and coffee. Dinner, consomme, fish, tenderloin of beef on toast with mushrooms, potatoes, salad, charlotte russe with coffee.
Interesting.
This was the typical fare aboard the Hindenburg.
I mean,
But
it's like
since
luxury
weight was
food.
such a concern, you didn't order things off the menu. You simply got everything, but everybody only had one choice when they sat down to a meal. Everybody got the same thing. But since there were so many foods available, surely there was something that you would like. Now, the food tended to be very
Please give
heavy,
everything,
with
huh?
cream soups and dishes like venison cutlets boval, Bavarian-style fatted duckling served with a buttery cream sauce, and vegetable dishes also served with a cream sauce. And then at luncheon, this was always finished with a show-stopping dessert like the one that we're making today, and usually at dinner it was something a little simpler like a fruit and cheese plate. Now, the dishes were so heavy that Americans at the time often complained that they couldn't stomach all of that heavy cream sauce.
Yeah, right. Sure,
So,
buddy.
one
Sure.
of the-
Yeah, never heard that one before. Yeah, there's too much food. Oh, I never heard that one before, man.
It's a bit too much. What the fuck?
You fat fuck. There's too much. There's too much food, man.
At least they ain't skimping on the out on the
German
meals.
representatives of the
I
company,
don't
or the American
think that's
representative of
something
the
you
company,
say, man. I didn't
suggested
think it's
that
something you
at the
say. You just
bottom of the
enjoy
menu
the
that they
food,
got at
okay? Be
breakfast,
grateful
they
of what
should
you
include
got.
the note, "We would be happy to
Too
much
prepare
ice
anything
cream.
for
Stop
you if
much.
there is nothing on the
Too
menu
much
that
Los
appeals
Polos
to you."
Hermanos.
And whether it was an omelet or one of these fancy desserts or anything else, it was all prepared in the kitchen on electric stoves and ovens. Because they didn't want any gas appliances.
Fire.
Because
Yes.
I
they
mean,
were
yes.
more
Why
likely
the fuck
to
do you
cause
think, man?
fire. And a fire aboard a hydrogen-filled Zeppelin
Boom.
is the nightmare scenario. A nightmare scenario that came true on May 6th,
Damn, he
1937.
tick.
The last voyage of the Hindenburg began like many others, leaving from Frankfurt, Germany on May 3rd with 36 passengers and 61 crew. It was headed to America, but as soon as it got out over the North Atlantic, strong headwinds slowed its progress. Now, this was not an issue for safety or even comfort, because the Hindenburg famously had no turbulence. To all our passengers, the safety, comfort, freedom from sickness, and tranquility of motion are a revelation. And these features, no doubt, are the reason for the increasing popularity of travel by
Is it because, like,
airship.
it's pretty
The
slow?
one regret expressed by our
Yes.
passengers, with which we are familiar,
And of course, the
is that
design
the
of it.
voyage is over
Oh,
so
hi,
soon.
Sandri. Hi,
Only
then.
this
Surprising you're
voyage
watching Tasty
wasn't over
History.
so soon
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of that wind
Hi, what's up?
slowed
What's
Hey,
up?
Sandri, it's been a while. Hi.
progress, and so it was
Yeah.
about 12 hours behind schedule.
Yeah, it's
getting
because
into
it's
New
pretty
Jersey.
slow, yeah.
Now, typically this wouldn't be a big deal, except that there were reporters waiting for the Hindenburg to arrive.
You know, it is something
because
out of
this was kind
Wolfenstein
being
if I've
treated
seen
as
one.
a one-year anniversary of the ship coming to America. Also, it needed to turn around and head back to Europe right after it landed, with some of the most wealthy and important people in both Germany and America, because they were
I guess
headed to
I'm doing
Europe
okay.
for the coronation of King George
Just-
VI,
Cool.
which was on May 12th.
Just,
So with the
watching,
pressure
so yeah.
on, the captain, Max Pruss, hurried the ship in its obligatory circle around Manhattan before heading on
It takes
to
a
New
while for
Jersey,
this thing to,
where
like,
he could land
turn. That's
a
the
full
thing.
12 hours behind schedule.
It's
The
like
only
a, it's
it has
like a
the circle
ship.
around.
there was a
No, it's like a
thunderstorm.
really wide
Now,
ship.
typically, a thunderstorm wasn't a problem. The Hindenburg had actually been struck by lightning on multiple occasions when it was up in the air. It had even burned off some of the cloth that covered it. The only time that it was an issue was if they were venting hydrogen, which they need to do when they land the ship. So the manual strictly forbids landing the Zeppelin during a thunderstorm. But with the eyes of the world on him, especially
Static.
the eyes
So
of
they
Berlin,
basically okay.
Captain
So from
Puss
what I
was
get, right,
really needing to
the only time they get the gas, like the gasoline, out of this vehicle is when they stop, and when that stop, fire started. Fire hits that gasoline. That's the problem. They cannot do that, but they're forced to do that. There's no other choice. It's literally like the catch-22 situation is that the only way they can, put the gas in is when they land. But when they land, it can get struck by lightning, which blow up the entire
Yep.
thing. You can't do both. That's the thing. I think the fucked up part is that like how do you call it? There is so much things that can go wrong with this thing, right? I feel like that's actually one of the reason why people doesn't use it. There's so much thing can go wrong.
With blimps nowadays, and they just use it for like remote controlled
It's kind
type blimps
of
nowadays.
reminds me of myself because I was like a huge like Fallout nerd as well. I did like read a couple of things as well, watch how the game plays. There is a game
Yep.
called Fallout Tactics, and the funny thing is that about that one is that if I recall correctly, right, the Brotherhood of Steel try to like reach the how do I think like it's the which one is west? West is on the side of
Left.
try to like the west coast of like the Brotherhood of Steel try to reach the east, but they got struck by like thunderstorm and lightning. They use like this balloon, right, like airship type of thing, but they got
Yes.
struck by balloon by the balloon was struck by like lightning and thunderstorm. And they crash landed. Most of them crash landed in on the outskirts of Chicago, right?
What the fuck?
No, that's true.
Okay.
That's the lore. They got stuck in the how do you call it, in the Midwest
Should we?
of how do you call it, America. So it's around Illinois and Chicago. The funny thing actually, right? The funny thing about that is that how do you call it? The ship doesn't survive. None of the ships survive. They just crash. They just like landed on Chicago
Wait,
itself,
wait,
on
so-
like the outskirts of Chicago.
Was there any people in that said?
Yeah, no, of course.
Ship on the game?
Most of the people survive. Most of the people survive from the ship.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, they cannot continue anymore because their transportation is gone. So they set up camp in the outskirts of Chicago again. Funny thing about that game is that they actually have a reference to The Simpsons. There is a town called Springfield in that place, and it's actually like a recreation of Springfield from The Simpsons. They have
Rose
no
Gosling Ghost.
Rose Gosling Goose
Yeah.
Cruise. So yeah, so getting struck by lightning, regardless of what it is, I feel like is a airship problem because your only method of like stay afloat is if there's nothing interrupting you. If a lightning struck you, there's like a huge chance the electricity got fried, and you're like slowly descending after that.
Yeah, and also
Springfield's-
that's why I said Springfield is a real place.
Yeah, no, I know Springfield is a real place. The thing is, which Springfield? There is like couple of them in America alone. Which Springfield? There is Springfield literally on Washington, like not DC, the other Washington, and then Springfield on again close to Chicago. Which one? That's the thing. Which one do you talking about? Illinois.
Springfield is a gun.
So that's the thing. So they actually have like, okay, wait, hold up. Let me bring up the thing for you. I think there's like a intro slideshow. I shouldn't play Fallout Tactics actually, considering I have the game, but it's like turn based as well. So I'm not really sure.
You could do like some kind of a variety stream if you want that, like multiple games
Probably.
in one stream.
But the thing is, Fallout Tactics is like story based. You cannot just like force it.
Fair.
You can literally see one of the airship, by the way. There's like crash on the ground.
It's all fun and games until something ripped a hole in the blimp. Hello, senpai.
Oh, by the way, it's not like the Pritwin. No, it's not like the Pritwin. That's the thing. It's like a lot smaller.
What the blimp?
Okay,
Plug.
okay. I found the thing. I found the picture.
Where?
What the fuck was that?
Plur.
This one, do you see it? Is that?
Why do I have a guy named Freak Lord 11?
I do not
Okay,
know.
let me check your stream.
That's the thing. It got
Oh my
struck.
god.
Yeah, it just goes through that. It just goes through that.
Okay, that shit's
Uh,
fucking scary, bro.
And yeah, some of the people survive. Some of the people of the ship survive. That's the thing. I think this is what I'm talking about. Like the ship itself is like a wreck. That's the thing.
Oh, it's really small.
And this no, this is
Yeah,
not the
very
main ship. This is
small.
not the main ship. This is not the main ship. This is not this. This ain't this.
Oh,
This ain't this. It's like one of the smaller ones.
this
No.
ain't it, Chief.
This ain't it, chief. No. I think like the messed up part is that like I said, it's just like everything can go wrong. In the outskirts of
Anything can go
Chicago.
wrong on a blimp.
Chicago is a thing, man.
Outskirts of Chicago. Oh.
Nick was transferred from Chicago to Boston. Oh, Nick is a native of Chicago.
Oh.
I think that's like a picture of Illinois. Yeah, this one.
I am blimping it. He said, Connect to Necro said.
Bro, ayo,
Don't
what
blimp
is it?
Do not blimp it. Do not blimp it.
I don't get it.
Do not blimp it.
Wait, I'm pretty sure there's like a picture of this, no? Chicago, that one like that. Oh yeah, this one. This is how it looks. Chicago of that.
Very futuristic.
And then this
Well-
is how Chicago now. Get buried in the dust. Ay, what a
Fair, I
mess.
guess.
Huh.
It really gives that what's that called, 90s aesthetic with like StarCraft 1 type thing. That's not
Oh.
Chicago.
Yeah, that there.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
now it is.
They got they got like orbital strike, I think.
This
This
is
place
just
is
like in
gone.
Stalker. It's like in Stalker in the fucking emission events. This is basically what it feels like.
Command and Conquer. It does look like Chicago. This is the day Chicago on a good day, man. I think like the messed
Still,
up part
there's
about the
like
entire thing.
there's a new emission coming. Something like that.
I think the messed up part, you can actually see like the sky still clear over here, right? And after the entire thing, it's just like pure black, like dust everywhere. Like the cities got hit pretty hard considering the fact, and that's saying something considering the fact that in Fallout, how do you call it? In Fallout 3, right? The literal White House doesn't look like this. Like they bomb White House, but that doesn't look like this. It's not pure black. You can still see the sky. Chicago is gone, man. It's gone. That's kind of sad, yeah. Normal modern day Chicago. How does like modern?
Post-war Chicago unironically just looks like modern Chicago. And there's no way. I don't think it is.
Modern Chicago. Hey, no, that's not actually that far off.
Pre-war?
No, I'm like the picture. This one.
I know,
No,
pre-war.
that's not far off. This is pre-war. This is pre-war Chicago.
Yeah, that's pre-war, but yeah, we're in the pre-war era right now.
That's not that far off. I mean, like, okay, considering the fact that some of the things that do exist in the Fallout universe does exist in like real life, I say it's pretty accurate. I mean, like, okay, I know there's like a point of divergence in like Fallout, right, where there's like our timeline and their timeline is different. The thing is, I want to like, point out something that I think pinpoints as to like where certain things is, right? Because again, I did mention that in Fallout 3, the White House is gone. It's just gone. There is no like remnant of that. However, right? Fallout do reference a lot of things. One of the things is that you wanna know what specifically I use? This one, because the news in the game does reference this. The new. Oh my god, it doesn't load. Are you
United
kidding me?
Nations.
There, the news does correct this, right? United Nations got disbanded.
Disbanded.
In the fall, how do you call trailer? It also like shows that United Nations got disbanded. In some of the comics, no, in some of the cartoon as well, it does shows the building does exist. So the point of divergence happens after that. This is one of the comic I was talking about. It does exist. It's over there. I don't think you can see it. So some of the buildings and some of our history do carries over. The point is, I do not really know when that split between our history happens. That's the thing, because how do you get some of the technology they have, we do have. Some of the technology they do have, we don't have. Where is that split happens? That's the thing.
Hang on a second. I understand that, but Marge just said she's getting sidetracked again.
So guys, I'm doing side quest, man. I'm doing side quest right now. Just give me a minute, okay?
Side quest.
I'm doing side quest
Sudden
right now.
Fallout tangents and thrice. Peak internet.
I'm like, okay, I keep telling people this. I don't know if I've told you guys this. I think this is the first time I told you guys as well. Also, hi, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. I think like I keep telling people this before. I do mention it as well. In most game, right? In most game, if it does mention, I will try to find how do you call it, any semblance or any points of United Nations, because here's the thing, if that does exist, if that organization does exist, or a parody of it does exist, we know that the game itself still takes into account of our history of our universe. Because here's the thing, Fallout, I did mention this as well, right? In GTA in GTA 4, right, which is set like in the United States as well, set in like New York, right? They do have what's it called, like a parody of United Nation. They have the building. They actually have the building.
I could already imagine how it looks like.
How do
I think you showed to me before. Go ahead.
like this same building. This is the same building they have in how do you call it, in GTA 4.
Chad, don't worry. She's doing side quests right now.
Yeah, the civilian committee, which is basically United Nations.
Association committee.
It's the same building. It's the same building. So if that building still exists, if that organization still exists, right? We know where our point of timeline is. Again, other example, Half-Life, right? In Half-Life, the United Nations building got orbital bombarded, right? So we know that it still exists. It does exist.
I think it's like it always exists in any video game, I guess.
No, if that organization, that building exists, that means we know that the timeline still correlates with our timeline. We know when the thing is. The problem is it's after that organization or that building is gone. We don't know where specifically that is. That's why I was like saying, I do not know where our timeline split, because after the United Nations got disbanded, we don't know what the hell happened after that. We don't know what to take into account, right? It's like a point marker, you know. Once you pass that point marker, once you remove that point marker, you don't know where the hell you are. In the timeline, it's just gone. The timeline is gone, right?
A settlement needs your help. I'll mark it on your
Settlement
map.
needs your help. So I just genuinely don't know when things are after that. I just don't know when. How do you call it? I do not know when to take the point into. Because no other real life building exists like that mentioned after that. Like again, like I want to bring it up again. Half-Life. After the 7-hour war, after like United Nations gave up, after the Earth surrender.
Earth has surrendered, and of course, given
what
to
do you
the
use
Combine.
as a point of that time? What do you use? The only time you know is that it's already 20 years after the 7-hour wars. Okay. When is that 7-hour war?
Do you think it's like around the 19? No, wait. Do you think it's in the 1980? 1998, 1997. What do you think? And then we went forward into 2020 something. That
Okay,
was 20,
Okay, I'm using Black
20,
Mesa
20
as
something.
I'm using Black Mesa as like a point right
A
now,
reference.
right? Yeah, as
Uh-huh.
a point of reference because that's the reason when I can remember. It's somewhere between 2010, 2012 in the game. So if that's the case, it's 2032, somewhere around that
20s,
time,
yeah.
right? So if that's
Uh-huh.
the case, considering the fact that it takes about 3 days to 7 days, like almost like 3 days to 7 weeks, not to a week, for Gordon to like get to Zen, get out, everything's to like that get employed by G-Man, right? So it takes at least a week before the entire would give
Before you
up.
get out of stasis.
No, because it says no, before the entire world give up. So just after that, a week after that, the entire world give up.
You can also use. Wait, no. Was Half-Life Alex ever like mentioned any dates on the newspapers?
I don't think they
Has
do.
anybody done that?
But
Okay.
half of Alex did confirm something. In that United State is gone. The entire United States got crossed off the map. It's gone. There is no point of going back. It's just gone. It's like not inhabitable anymore. So there is no point to take a mark off. You lost every semblance of old world. That's it.
We're in the Half-Life era now.
So we're going to Half-Life. Okay. Going back to the stream. Yeah. I don't know. I'm doing side quests, guys. Leave me alone, guys.
Don't worry, I do side quests and
Get this
fucking
ship landed and
WoW
get it
back
back
then. So
on
Now
schedule.
that I think about it, I haven't done
Finally,
main
at
quest in my
6:12
Fallout
p.m.,
4.
the commanding officer on the ground at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station radioed up, saying conditions now considered suitable for landing. Ground crew is ready. Unfortunately, the ship, killing time, had kind of gone out of the way and was now 30 miles south of Lakehurst, and
Just
so
shut up.
it
Man,
didn't actually
why are you
get
so
to
mean to
Lakehurst
me?
until 7:09 p.m.
Why is it
Then
pissing?
at 7:21,
Why is the
crew
plane
dropped
no,
pissing?
that's
power
fuel.
lines
That's
to
fuel.
the
That's
ground
fuel.
crew
That's fuel.
Okay.
290 feet below. Then these lines would be attached to winches to pull the airship down to the ground so passengers
I think
could get off.
Neko's saying
But
about
before it did that,
shut up
at
to Max.
7:25,
Ah,
crew members in the tail fin
your rambling is
heard a
entertaining.
dull
Man, you
pop
guys
and
mean.
saw a
You guys mean to
spark
me.
and a flame above them. A fire had
Okay,
broken
great.
out while they were venting hydrogen, and almost instantaneously, one of the fuel cells exploded.
Ooh.
Now the ship was so large
Okay,
that
Redmond,
only
no,
those
it's not
in the
funny,
back or
Redmond.
those
Come on,
on
be
the ground
serious.
watching knew what had happened, because most people just felt it kind of as a rumble or a jolt. Even the captain thought maybe they had just lost or broke a line. In the crew mess, a 14-year-old cabin boy, Werner Franz, who was the youngest crew member aboard, he was securing dishes and silverware
1922 to
when it
2014.
happened.
Holy
The first
fuck.
thing I noticed was a huge bang and a strong vibration in the ship. Within seconds, the room tilted forward and he fell, and he saw flames coming in through the ceiling above him. And then a water tank burst, dousing him with water and kind of jolting him out of his shock, and he ran toward a service hatch that led directly out. It's where they brought food into the mess, and he leapt into it, and as it was in free fall, I hung there. Then I jumped from a height of about 4 or 5 meters, ran
Fucking
under
hell.
the ship and out
Wait.
the other side. The head chef
No, wait, Mao. No, don't say that, Mao. You can get me in trouble. Don't say that, okay? I just realized I was like staring at my phone as well.
Zavamaya had seen the boy do this, and so he quickly followed him and again dropped to the ground
Get knocked out,
virtually
explode.
unharmed. He can actually be seen in a photo leaving the scene with the wreckage behind him, ironically smoking a cigarette. Many others found escape through the windows on the port side where the restaurant was, because the ship listed that way, and so people could jump out to the ground. Now, what's scary is all of this happened in a matter of about 15 seconds. It's thought that from the explosion to the point where you could get out of the ship alive,
Take
you
it
had
out.
15 seconds
Fast.
to
Holy
act.
crap.
The speed
Yeah,
of
all
having
of
to
it is
make
just-
these horrible decisions of jumping out of the window is most evident in the story of a family who was aboard the ship. Hermann Dörner, who managed a pharmaceutical company,
Instead of Paul
You
Davis,
either
then
get
Mexico
burned
City,
alive
was
or just
traveling back with
fall.
his
Oh, hi,
family
Onion.
from
How you doing?
Germany, where they had been on holiday. And it was him, his wife Matilda, and 3 of their children, Irene, Walter, and Werner.
Oh, God.
Now, Mrs. Dönner and the 3 children were actually on that promenade next to the restaurant, watching out of the windows, and that's when they felt the place shudder, and then it lurched, and they were thrown against the back wall of the restaurant. As the ship began to
Guys,
settle,
the
she saw
now
2
talking
crew
about
members, 2
different
stewards,
topic than was
jump
watching, by the
out
way.
of the window, and she decided they needed to follow. And so she grabbed her children and ran toward the window.
No!
Fritz Dieg, who was one of the stewards,
Guys,
who had
don't
jumped
say
out,
things
was
like that.
on the
No.
ground shouting up to her
Raymond, can you
to
check
leap
on
out of
the
window.
stream? Don't let
So
them
she
talk like
grabs
that.
Walter, who was 10, and
Okay.
throws him out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the window. He falls about
Don't say
15
things like
feet,
that,
and
man.
Fritz
Don't say that.
catches
Not
him
allowed.
and tosses him aside so he doesn't get hit by falling wreckage. Then it was 8-year-old Werner's turn, and he was already on fire, his hair and his clothes, when she picked him up and threw him out. But the ship kept moving, and so he got knocked around and fell back in, and on the second try, she tossed him out, and he also made it to the ground. Then Mrs. Dönner turned to her 14-year-old daughter, Irene, who was in shock and asking where their father was, because he was back in their cabin. She wouldn't jump. So Mrs. Dönner tried to force her to, but she was 14. She was just too heavy. And the girl turned and ran back into the ship, probably to find her father. Now, you have to think, again, this is all happening in the span of seconds. And Mrs. Dönner has to make the decision, do I follow my daughter to almost certain death, or do I follow my 2 sons, saving myself for them? And that's what she did. She leapt out, fell, she hurt herself as she did, but she survived. Now, against all odds, Irene was found. Again, only a minute after the explosion.
Why are you smiling? I don't.
rescuers were
I'm
running
having a
into
passive
the
face.
burning
What?
wreckage, and one of them found Irene. She was seated at a dining table, and she was on fire. And he got her and took her out. And unfortunately, she did die of her burns later that night. The father, Hermann, he was found much later, and he also had died. Honestly, when you watch the footage of the disaster, it's hard to believe that anyone survived.
This kind of
Those
reminds me
on
of
the
that
ground,
Chernobyl blow up,
reporters
not
and
gonna lie.
family alike, none of them expected
It's
that
kinda messed up.
anyone could survive what they were watching. It's why Herb Morrison's famous broadcast is
Yeah, when I heard that
so
broadcast.
emotional.
It's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around it.
Oof.
I told you, I can't even talk to people. There's friends around there.
Yeah, this messed up, man.
I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it just laying there a massive smoking wreckage.
But in the end, 62 of the 97 people on board the Hindenburg did survive.
Oh, that's
What did
a
not
good news.
survive was the airships. The day after the Hindenburg disaster, the Graf Zeppelin landed safely in Germany after flying from Brazil,
And then
this was the last international passenger airship flight. They were used somewhat in World War II, but after that, they were all but gone. And today, obviously not filled with
But you're-
hydrogen, they're only used for the occasional advertising over football games.
You know what I'm gonna
Yep.
say
While
about
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
Zeppelin?
was gonna bring that up,
Blimp
yeah.
might be fun. I'm guessing that they don't feed you on fancy things.
Davey!
Pears Condé with chocolate sauce that I need to finish making. So the recipe calls for small pears, and that is what I used, but these are really hard to find. So you can use the smallest pear that you can find and just cut it in half. But
Fucking hell, I'm
you
trying to
want
grab
them to
something, but
be
not reach it.
firm. You don't want them to be fully ripe yet because they're going to soften as we
has
cook.
short arms.
What you do want to do is peel
Hey,
them.
it's
You
beer.
can do this by scalding them and then putting them in cold water and the skin will come off.
Pure-
Or if you just have
teto.
a few, it's just faster.
No, no,
to
pure
hand peel.
teto.
Then make a syrup with 1.5
Pure
cups or
teto.
300 grams
No,
of
pure
sugar, 5
teto.
cups
Pure
or
teto is
1.2
not
liters of
allowed.
water,
I
and
hate
1/2
that.
vanilla
Or pure
pod
cherno.
1.5 teaspoons of vanilla paste. Mix it all up and heat it over medium heat
I
until
eat
it becomes a
pears.
syrup, and then drop in the pears and simmer for 15 minutes. For
Perfecto.
Escoffier's chocolate sauce, take 250 grams of
Perfecto.
This is
sweet
chocolate.
chocolate and add 1 3/4 cup or 400 milliliters
Is
of
that-
water
yeah,
and
that's
1
dark
tablespoon
Yeah,
of
this is
vanilla
just dark
sugar.
chocolate, yeah.
If you don't have vanilla sugar, you should get some because it's absolutely
Hey,
delicious.
Sugar
Sugar
water.
water.
In a
Fuck
pinch, you
you.
can just use some regular sugar. Then set that over medium heat and let the chocolate melt and simmer the sauce for 25 minutes. And then stir in 3 tablespoons of heavy cream and 1 tablespoon of butter. Let it
What
melt
is...
and then
Wait,
take it
hold
off
up a second. What is
then
the
go get your
thing...
rice out of the 20. If you don't have
What?
vanilla sugar, you should get some because it's absolutely delicious. But in a pinch, you can just use some regular sugar. Then set that over medium heat and let the
Hold up.
chocolate melt and simmer the sauce for 25 minutes. And then
What is he...
stir in 3 tablespoons of
Yeah, what is he barely looks like he put anything in there? What the fuck?
It's heavy cream.
heavy cream and 1
Okay.
tablespoon of butter. Let
It's
it
like-
melt and then take it off the heat.
You know.
Then go get your rice out of the refrigerator
what's the
and put it
word
into
for it.
a
Vanilla
mold
sugar.
of some sort, or just dish it up. And then set some of that candied fruit that was macerated in the
I want that.
kirschwasser
Yes,
on
3
top of it, and then
tablespoons.
set your poached pears on top of that. Add
Uh-huh.
several
I eat
candied cherries.
pears.
You can use either maraschino cherries or the really nice little
Oh, it's a
dark
cherry.
cherries.
I was
that,
gonna say
they
it's like
put in
dates,
like a
but no.
good old-fashioned or something like that. And then put the chocolate on top. And here we are, pears condé with
Huh.
chocolate sauce. I mean, none of this
Interesting.
doesn't look appetizing. So let me start with the pears. Try a bit. Yeah, it's nice and soft. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get it all. I'm gonna just get it all. Here we go.
Alright, how does it taste, Max?
Oh my god,
It's
I'm
pretty
pretty
tasty.
sweet.
that is so good, y'all. Wow, it's a lot of work, but oh, the flavors. So you just want a little bit of chocolate sauce because the flavor of the pear is so light. You don't want it overwhelmed by the chocolate. I think you could probably leave off the fruit if you don't want that. I mean, not the pears. Obviously, you want that. But so a little bit of chocolate and that pear, and then I'm going to just try the rice real quick.
How does it taste?
That's amazing. I mean, it's essentially rice pudding, but with a really strong vanilla flavor that makes it just... It tastes like luxury. It tastes like you're dining on the Hindenburg. Yeah,
this
and with
like
the
good,
chocolate and that
thing.
combined, fantastic. Honestly, if you want, you can just make the rice pudding. That is worthy of a dessert in and of itself if you want to do things a little faster. Also, before I go, I just wanted to thank everyone for watching this
What I'm gonna
channel
say
and
for that,
subscribing.
I'd
We
rather
just hit-
not have. I mean, there's. I think yeah. Tilapia says the presentation okay. It's okay, but personally, I wouldn't. I would also say the same because I'd rather have like chopped pears instead of like having the entire pears in there.
Mhm.
So
I don't like pears
I
in
don't-
general, so I don't want to do that.
I understand that, but it's just the pears. If it's like chopped, that's perfectly fine for me.
Mhm.
Just for the presentation to make it actually makes it bearable to eat. But a whole pear and you dip that and you just put chocolate in there, I don't like that.
Can you consider this
I
like a
don't like
cake?
that.
I don't think you can consider this as a cake.
Just eat them separately. I don't think that works either. No, I don't
Mm.
think that works either.
Yeah, I don't think you can just like eat pears. I think just like just have them like not in thing, I suppose.
2 million
Yeah, you can say that.
subscribers,
Oh,
which is just mind-boggling. I never expected that food history would would take off like it did.
well, it sure is, Max. Sure
I'm
is.
just so glad that I found my audience and y'all found me. So
All right. The next one.
Yeah.
No, stop that.
today
Wait,
on
hang
Most
on.
Domestic
No,
Life,
no,
I'd
no,
like to
different.
can you
No, wrong,
continue with
wrong,
the
wrong.
next-
I wrong one. Wrong one. Oh, yeah, what is it?
Can you continue with the next one? Because remember when I said something about the ceiling cat incident that I had previously? And then I had to move out from the room. And now there's another one in my. It's not another one in my room. It's a frog. I have no clue how it entered my room.
Kiss the frog.
There's no
Kiss the frog.
openings.
Kiss the frog.
No, I'm not.
Kiss the frog.
I'm not kissing the
Kiss
frog.
the frog. Kiss the frog. No balls. No balls. Kiss
No.
the frog. Kiss the frog. No balls.
No,
Do it. Kiss the frog.
No,
Do it for the
hang on,
fine.
let
Come
me-
on. Do it for the fine. Come on.
it's a large ass. It's a
Yeah,
large ass
just kiss it.
frog.
Just kiss it. Kiss it.
No.
Kiss it. It'll turn into a handsome prince. Come on. Kiss it.
The fuck you mean?
Kiss it. Kiss it.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Kiss it. No balls. Kiss it.
No.
No balls. Kiss it.
Okay, imagine this fucking frog. Blink if you need help. Hang on, I need to get rid of this.
Man.
So I heard like I thought it was like some kind of like bugs in my room, like one of those large ass fucking
Kiss
bugs.
the frog. Come on.
Because we have that. But apparently I wasn't expecting it to be a frog.
I can hear. I can actually hear it. What the fuck?
So, hang on. Alright,
Okay.
you can continue with the next video. I'll be back.
Okay.
I also need to go to the bathroom.
Kiss
so
the
one sec.
frog.
Frog
Kiss
just wanna
the
chill.
frog.
No, I don't want to kiss the frog.
Kiss the frog.
Fucking hell.
Okay. Anyway, let's continue the next one.
All right. BRB.
Today
No,
on
my
most
God! Stop that. Fucking hell. Okay. Let's go continue the next one.
Today, on most domestic flights, you're lucky to get a bag of pretzels and a ginger ale. But
This
back
episode.
in the golden age of air travel, the 1950s, 60s, and 70s,
What is that? They have like letter. What is that? Letter on the airplane.
pretty much every ticket came with a luxurious
It goes
meal.
in the
Meals
bathroom,
like
of course
this
it
one
is.
from United Airlines in 1954, which includes pot roast, Delmonico potatoes, and a heavenly delight salad. So thank you to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video as we fly the friendly
Oh wait. Max traded the Pokemon for a plane.
skies. This time on Tasting History.
And a prison food. Prison food.
So based on the age of most of my audience, I'm going to guess that you didn't get to fly during the golden age of air travel. Neither did I. I'm not quite that old. But I did get to be around for some of the vestiges of the golden age, like getting to go into the cockpit as a kid and have the wings put on me by the pilot himself. But when it came to food, I wasn't around for any of the good stuff. It was always just peanuts and Coke. And frankly, it's probably a good thing because the quality of airline food when I was a kid was not great. But that was not always the case because like in the 1950s and 60s, airlines prided themselves on the quality of food that they were serving. That's because during the time, prices of tickets were regulated, so they couldn't compete on price, so they had to compete in other ways. Basically, how to make the flight actually more pleasant for the passengers, and one big thing was food. And today I can actually travel back in time and try some of that luxurious food.
I can't believe
with
Max
this.
Miller brings
This
time
is
machine.
a cookbook that was put out in 1954 by
blue.
United Airlines.
What?
It's called Favorite Recipes of Mainliner Chefs. And today I've chosen 3 dishes from this book so I can create an entire meal that would have been served on an airplane in 1954. First is a beef pot roast by Chef Emile Saltzman from the New York Flight Kitchen, then the Delmonico potatoes by Chef Marc Grugier of the Honolulu Kitchen, and finally the Heavenly Delight salad by Chef Edward Gerber of the Washington, D.C. Flight Kitchen. And the Flight Kitchen is where they would actually prepare the food before they would put it on the plane just before takeoff. Now, the second 2 recipes are pretty simple, but the first recipe has a lot of ingredients. So for the pot roast, what you're gonna need is 2.5 pounds of beef chuck or round, 1 pound of veal bones. Finding veal bones is quite the struggle, so
Chromium off the wire. I can't read this in. John Tasting History has a bunker where he keeps all his ancient ingredients. Damn, man. Max is find this John Tasting History.
beef bones. 2 cups of beef stock, 2 medium onions quartered, 6 ounces of tomato paste,
What
2
the
bay
fuck was
leaves,
that?
1 sprig of parsley, 1 cup of diced carrots, a half cup diced celery, 6 whole cloves, 10 whole peppercorns, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of butter or other fat, 1 cup of dry red wine, and then some flour and salt and pepper to taste. And as always, I'm going to have these recipes all up on the Tasting History website with metrics so you can follow along at home. So first, Chef Emile has you season the meat with
Beef,
plenty of salt and pepper, and then dredge it in flour. Then melt the butter in a large pot, and then add the meat and the marrow bones, and let the meat sear for several minutes on one side, and then
Real talk, I don't actually know why people eat marrow bones. Like, I get people make stew or like soup out of them, but I'm too broke to do that, so I just generally never tasted, never had them. I just don't know how it tastes. I do not know how it, like, how it feels. Tastes good. It is fancy.
flip it
I mean,
over
it's a
and let
luxury
it get some
plane, I
color
guess.
on the other. Once it's lightly browned all over, add in the onions, celery, carrots, parsley, whole cloves, bay leaves, and peppercorns, and let it cook for about 15 minutes.
But
then
the
add the
cholesterol.
garlic, stock, tomato paste, and the wine, and then stir
the
everything together
wine.
and let it come to a simmer. Then put the lid on and let it cook at a simmer for about 2 hours or until the meat is just falling apart. And during that time, you can make yourself up a cup of coffee from today's sponsor, Trade. Now, on an airline, the coffee is never really good. And partly that's because our sense of taste is all wonky up there. We'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, because the difference of pressure and also because of the air as well. Yeah, that's why your taste is like not as it used to be. Also, why is everyone in like back then has this type of hairstyle? Like, what's up with that? I remember seeing like a picture of my mom back when she was in college, and she has this hairstyle. Like, what's up with that? What's up with this hairstyle? Everyone back then has this hairstyle. Like, what's up with that? More tasty than evil, in my opinion. Didn't they used to smoke while flying? Yeah, they used to smoke while they're flying like that. Yes. Look at the people in the time in their hair. Most common by. It's like, who's her name? The villain in like the Minions movie. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, I forgot her name. Like the woman that Sandra Bullock voice. I forgot her name. She has this hairstyle. I was like, what's up with that? Yeah, no, okay, Redman. Do you see the thing? Scarlet, yeah, Scarlet Overkill, yeah. She has this hairstyle. What's up with that? Like, it just feels like odd seeing this.
I thought it was Scout's mom.
Yeah, Scout's mom also has this hairstyle. What the hell? Also, I just saw that person.
But yeah.
I see that person like in the left, like next to the thing. I thought like, wait, where's her face? And I just said that she's turned around. Like, I was trying to figure out where her face is. I think she's looking down, man.
Oh wait, no. There's no reason to look down because
you're in the plane.
Mobile phones was another thing.
But to bring it back, these hairs are so weird. Yeah, it's just weird. You have the same hairstyle. I don't look like that. That ain't me, man. That don't look like that. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? That's not my hair.
But also, the water tends to be really low quality, and frankly, the coffee is also often low quality as well. That last part, at least, can be rectified by getting your coffee with Trade. Trade is a coffee delivery service that delivers coffee cured different roasts, so their passengers got off a plane, so the chef there just took some coffee.
No reason to look down. Books. Yeah, books, Redman. Is unlike you, never read.
And you can drink some coffee, Irish, or
I mean, we can just use.
Potatoes.
Well, I mean, we use audiobooks instead.
Oh my god, there is no audiobook back then, bro.
2 cups, half and half, and then some salt and pepper and plenty of Parmesan cheese to cover the top. So first, mix the potatoes with the pimentos, and then
humans have a bit look down after the first phone, yeah.
Of pepper to the half and half.
I can't look down because my boobs is on the way.
Pour all of that over the potatoes, making sure the potatoes are covered, and then set the dish in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 Celsius for about an hour and a half until the potatoes are totally cooked through. Then take it out of the oven, up the oven to 400 degrees, sprinkle a bunch of Parmesan cheese to cover the top, and return it to the oven for 5 more minutes or until the top is melted.
Listen, man, I just cannot look down, okay? It's too big.
Which really stretches the definition of a salad. Make sure you subscribe to Tasting History.
Sounds like a booze bag.
Channel, and let's talk about the
I don't know what you guys talking about.
So before we get into the history, I want to mention this wonderful resource that I used called Food in the Air and Space by Richard Foss. It's a wonderful deep dive into the history of food
is just
in
fucking
the air,
dehydrated.
not just airlines, but in space, and even he goes all the way back to the 18th century with hot air balloons. It's fantastic.
We talked about air balloons just a while back.
In this topic,
yeah.
I'm not going all the way back to the 18th century. I am starting just after World War I in 1919, where on October 11th, the first meal on a commercial airline was served during a Handley Page flight from Paris to London. This was a prepackaged lunchbox with
why are his walls? Wait, what the hell? I just realized that as well.
Food was not included.
Wait,
no,
yeah, why is this walls wet?
That's tiles. It's tiles. It's tiles. They have a reflective thing.
Yeah, no, the thing is, the wall on the right doesn't look wet. The one in the left does look wet. What? Yeah, Max, what did you do?
the price of the
Reflective
ticket, so
light.
you had to shell out 3 shillings.
That's
for
kinda
this.
Yeah, mosaic
man.
tiles.
And
Yeah.
pretty much for the
You
next
killed the
decade,
slime.
all meals on planes were cold.
I don't know,
Like the
man, I'm
Western Air
stupid.
Express meals on flights between Los Angeles and San Francisco, where cold fried chicken, potato salad, and sandwiches
California,
were catered by the
huh?
Los Angeles-based Pig and
Egyptian
Whistle,
theater,
which
yeah.
sadly only closed a couple years ago. The same year that they were serving cold fried
Lame.
chicken, 1928, Lufthansa upped the ante with the first hot in-flight meal on flights from Berlin to Paris, where the food was made on the ground.
The guy
and
on the
then
left
kept
looks
warm
like
in
way too
insulated
close to the fucking
containers.
propeller.
This began airlines'
I mean, it's
increasing
dead.
desire to
Another one.
provide passengers with the best and most
Fair, yeah.
cutting-edge
Lazy.
cuisine available. The issue was keeping it warm because, especially on a longer flight, those insulated containers just didn't really cut it. And so if you wanted to heat the food up on the plane, you had to have an oven built on the plane, and most planes just weren't that big. But the flying boats of the 1930s were. And Pan American Airlines, Pan Am, installed galleys on many of their clippers so they could not only reheat the food, but actually cook it. They even had a dedicated dining room aboard with tables and white tablecloths, so
It's
it
like
was
pretty
more like
fancy for the
eating
time.
in an actual restaurant. United Airlines soon followed suit and began installing kitchens
The
on their
was
planes, where
CH3
they would serve
plane.
not cold but hot fried chicken as well as freshly scrambled eggs. This is
Not
also
gonna lie,
around the
okay,
time when
real
United
talk actually,
Airlines
if I have enough money, I wanna buy like one of these plane, not gonna lie. I wanna have like one of these plane.
A large one like these?
Yeah, it's basically like what you call it? It's a really good plane, yeah. It's Spanish for now. Yeah, it's a really fancy plane. It's a really fancy plane.
Better than a fucking boat.
They don't make one of these anymore actually.
began installing
Yeah, they
kitchens on
don't,
their
so-
planes where they would serve not cold but
It's
hot
Douglas,
fried
man. It's
chicken
Douglas
as
CH3.
well as freshly scrambled eggs. This is also around
It's a
the time
biplane.
when
Biplane
United
is really
Airlines
dangerous. That's the
really
thing.
began
I don't
priding
really like
themselves
biplane. I'm not a
on the
fan of
quality
biplane.
their food. By the way, this is not sponsored by United Airlines. Just talk about history. Maybe it would have been nice if they had sponsored it. Though once I get to the part about flight attendants, stewardesses, and how they train them, they'd probably revoke that sponsorship. We'll get to that. Anyway, United made a huge leap
Order
forward in the
custom.
quality of
Nah.
airline food.
Just a
in
I know
1930s,
money.
That's millions of dollars on
when
the
in
line.
Oakland, California, they opened up their first flight kitchen. They hired top chefs to design a menu worthy of a wonderful luxury restaurant on the ground, but with the idea that these dishes could be served in the air. Far more elaborate dishes could be made this way by preparing them on the ground rather than in the air. And that is what they called their mainliner
Okay,
cuisine.
coffee
That
go,
is actually
fucking
what we're
plane,
cooking
yes.
from today.
Pay
It's
up for
those
my
dishes that we're
plane.
cooking. Other airlines quickly followed suit, and menus from this time period really
You end up
show
crashing the
how
plane. I'm not the one
fancy airline
piloting, I'm
food
just
could
sitting
get.
there.
Mignon of veal with Russian sauce, Boston cream pie, or an entire Irish-themed meal on St. Patrick's
go.
Day 1940 with a Dublin-style Lego lamb stew.
Lego what?
Airlines
What?
are going extra
Lego
fine
what?
dining by serving everything from lobster
Lego.
to foie gras to peach melba. Now, the next big technological leap came, as many technological leaps do, from a military contract.
Oh yeah.
During World War II, William Maxon, or rather his company,
Let me guess. Okay. I'm gonna take a wild guess, but this is because they have to serve food in the Navy pretty fast, but because they don't have a room,
Yes.
they have like a steamer. And because
Yeah.
of that steamer, for the food, one of the guy found out, bring it to a plane to cook on the plane itself. And then some guy found out about that and he made Stevie dinner. Let me guess.
developed several inventions for the U.S. military.
Yep.
In addition to the Maxon multiple gun mount, which airlines never seem to have adopted, his company developed the Maxon whirlwind oven, which by circulating the air in the oven would heat things more evenly and much quicker. This was essentially the first convection oven, and it was designed to fit these meals called Maxon sky plates, which were served on airplanes for the Navy and the Army during the war and afterward. Then after the war, Pan American Airlines took these ovens and installed them on many of their commercial planes so that they could get rid of the full kitchen or have the food that was being brought on heated at a much quicker pace. It was also during the war that several airlines hired their first all-female flight attendant crews. Now, there had been female flight attendants, or stewardesses as they were called, since 1930. But during the war, the lack of men saw the female stewardess become the standard for quite some time. In fact, in subsequent decades, many airlines refused to hire men for the job at all. And they started using the female stewardesses as a selling point to their clients.
It's more a fancy oven, actually, not a microwave.
Basically saying, hey, you want your food and drink served by a pretty lady. Now, this meant that stewardesses really had to become the ultimate service provider. Back in the 30s and even the early 40s, you actually had to be a registered nurse to become a flight attendant, but by the...
Guys,
What?
hear me
I
out, guys.
think-
Guys, hear me out.
Uh-huh.
What if a hooter, but on planes?
No.
Guys, come on, guys, guys, listen, I'm cooking right
No.
now.
No.
What about like
no.
hooters on planes?
No.
What do
no,
you guys think?
No. No.
Or crazy
no.
rich people,
No.
you know?
No. Wait.
No. Nuh-uh. No.
Okay, you guys says no for hooters. What about femboy
Definite
hooters?
X.
Okay, it's too sus, I guess. What's wrong? You just so
the
adamant about
50s,
it.
The airlines were doing all of that training themselves, as can be seen in this one ad from United Airlines. Told you we'd get back to this, where they boast. 2 months ago, Sherry Woodruff couldn't even balance a cup of coffee. She was friendly, intelligent, and attractive.
Being a nigga,
and
it's easy to
wanted
be
more
honest. I
than
just had the
anything
faded
else
blue
to be
hair,
a
and the
great
guy brought me
stewardess.
fancy version of
But then she
Overwatch
had
Battle
5.5
Pass.
weeks at United
I don't
Stewardess.
play
wow.
Overwatch,
We
and I
taught
don't have
Sherry
blue
how to
hair.
serve a gourmet dinner,
And I'm also
how
not
to
Negro,
sew
so
the
that's
first
that.
flyer, how to apply everything
I'm
from
just
makeup
normal. I'm
to
just
first
me.
aid. Today, she can warm a baby's formula with one hand and pour 4 cups of coffee with the other. They actually use these ads to entice young women to apply to learn the skills not
Isn't
of
this
a
also
great
the same with
stewardess,
like
but of a great housewife. They even went so
waitresses
far as to
able to carry
imply
like
that
4 beer
on,
bottles
one of the
in one
flights
hand?
is the best place
I mean,
for
they're
you to
trained to do
secure a
those.
husband, as can be seen in this 1967 ad. Old maid, that's what the other United Airlines stewardesses call her, because she's been flying for almost 3 years now. The average tenure of a United stewardess is only 21 months before she gets married.
So less than
Maybe
2
that's
years.
why more people fly United than any other airline. Everyone gets warmth, friendliness, and extra care, and someone may get a wife. Of course, as soon as they did get married, United would fire them, and that wasn't deemed illegal until 1971. They also had a mandatory retirement age of 30. Now, during the 50s and 60s, the airlines would actually
That's
use the
just the German
stewardesses
beer
and
thing.
the
Oh, okay.
cuisine in tandem to sell passengers on their flights, especially with something they called themed flights. Like TWA had foreign accent flights. These were themed Italian, French, Old English, and Manhattan Penthouse. The flight attendants wore costumes. Like the English flight, they would wear like a wench costume, and then they would also play music from whatever country it was, and of course, the cuisine was from the country as well. Northwest Airlines really doubled down on these theme flights with something called the Fujiyama Room. On October 30th, 1955, they debuted these rooms featuring kitschy Asian decor on a number of planes. And they would serve food like shrimp, cheese, and fruit out of a pineapple with little umbrellas sticking out of it. It was sort of like Japan and tiki culture mashed up, thereby ruining both. Then there was Western Airlines' Hunt Breakfast flights from 1957. This was styled in the tradition of an Old English hunt breakfast, basically having breakfast out while you're hunting. And so all the food was themed that way too, but when it came to the sounds, it would be barking dogs and bugles. Now, perhaps no flight married the idea of the pretty stewardess and the quality cuisine better than United Airlines executive flight, something I'm sure the company would like to forget. These flew from 1953 to 1970 and were men only. Women were not allowed to purchase a ticket on these flights. Aimed at the executive businessmen of New York and Chicago, these flights would take off every day at 5 p.m., flying between the two cities. And there's an ad from the time that lets you know exactly what you can expect. United Airlines invites you to fly the Chicago Executive, a club in the sky for men only. You'll enjoy the informal club-like atmosphere, smoke your pipe or cigar if you wish, and make yourself more comfortable by using the pair of slippers provided. Enjoy congenial company in the lounge. A full-course steak dinner is table served by the 2 stewardesses aboard. It's a delicious meal prepared by the experienced continental chefs. Now, it wasn't just these themed flights, but really all flights of the 1950s and 60s that tried to up their game when it came not just to food, but just luxury in general. The seats became cushier than ever, often fully reclining, or on some longer flights, there would be an entire berth with a lay-down bed like you'd expect on a...
What is that thing on her neck? What is that? Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, what is that?
I
It's just a collar tie?
wait. What the fuck? Wait, hold up. I just lost my mouse. Wait, where's my cursor? The fuck?
Haha,
Wait,
stolen.
it's gone.
Stolen.
The fuck? It's just gone. I can't see it. It's not there. No, I can see it. It's still moving. I can see like the window open, but I do not see it. The fuck?
Yeah, I don't see it either.
It's not there. It's not on my hand.
Tee, stolen.
Hold up, guys. Hold up.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if I do this, it will crash my PC or not, but Control Alt Delete. Okay, there.
there?
It's there. Yeah, it's there. Okay. I have to like crash my thing for a second. Okay.
Train or on one of the really top luxury airlines of today. And this is when the food really became a spectacle. There was a TWA flight where they would roll a trolley down the aisle with a whole piece of roast beef where they would slice it off and you'd be served roast beef au jus right there from the aisle. Other trolleys would include chilled seafood like lobster and crab legs. There were fresh fruit trays, salads and charcuterie, and even a dessert cart where they would make a sundae right in front of you. Bring
Ooh.
that back. I'm starting a petition.
Yeah, I won't like to have a sundae, but I'm pretty sure if I eat it, I will just throw up in the freaking plane.
It's just like one of those like pre-made sundae. Those like made like 5 hours ago.
Huh?
It's
Now, one of the
so.
most
I'm pretty sure they have
splendid
refrigerator in
setups
there.
For food actually came
I
from
mean, yeah, they do.
Scandinavian
Like with
Airlines, where
modern.
what? They just cut it there.
day.
they offered the
Wait, what?
Scandinavian country-style buffet during the late 60s.
They cut
It's
it
like
there.
the cartoon style of.
right there in the
Yeah, it's a carton style leg, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
aisle. Now, while the food was getting more splendid, that doesn't actually mean it was getting better, because the flavor of the food wasn't exactly what it was on the ground. First of all, if it was made on the ground and then kept on the plane
Cut it back,
and then
yeah.
having to be
So you have to reheat
reheated,
that back.
you're essentially eating really fancy leftovers. But another big thing was that we don't taste the same when we're up in an airplane. Partly it's because
Pressure.
the real lack of humidity messes
Oh.
with our sense of smell and hence our sense of taste. So you're not tasting the food as much as you would on the ground. So they started adding a lot more salt and sugar to their recipes to compensate. But while that may have helped with the flavor
I
of
don't
the
like
food,
that.
there was something else coming along in airline travel that would really screw up the service, and that was the adoption of jets.
Oh yeah, because the faster it is, like you don't have time to prepare it anymore.
Airlines began switching over to jets,
Boeing
which were
707,
much,
huh?
much
Oh, it's a
faster than the
Boeing.
earlier airplanes. And this meant that the 7-course meal
I love how the thing is only survived for 1 year.
Wait, really?
It
Wait,
just
what?
survived for
Go back.
it survived for 1 year, 1957 to 1958.
often served. That was the adoption of jets. Airlines began switching
There, it's only survived for 1 year. I mean, that's Boeing.
Wow, okay.
It's Boeing. It's in the
Bro-
characters, yeah.
over to jets.
I
which
mean,
went much,
Bo-
much faster than
Boeing's
the
just a
earlier
what's this
airplanes.
called,
And this
disposable
meant that the
planes.
Fuck it.
7-course meal often
Fuck it,
served
1 year,
even on
die.
domestic flights was becoming a thing.
It's like
of the
Call of
past.
Duty every
At least
year.
in economy, sometimes in first class now, I guess you get it. But even so, everything had to be sped up. The shorter service time also led to most airplanes swapping out glassware in China for plastic trays and
Wait,
plastic
plastic,
forks.
ah.
Because unlike
Yeah,
the
it's
China, you
easier
didn't
to
have
clean,
to clean it
yeah.
right then and kind of
No,
stack it
you don't clean it,
nicely,
just
which
toss
took
it
a lot
off.
of time,
You just
but rather
toss
you
it, yeah.
just toss it in a bin and deal with it when you landed. Though this was published in 1954, and they're already eating off of plastic, so you know it was a gradual change. And all of these changes going on gave
Imagine
airline
it was
food
less than
a
yeah
new
at the end of
reputation
57, early
being
50. Yeah, it
rubbery
just
and
you know what,
bland.
this plane
There's
sucks. Get
actually
this
a
out of
wonderful
here.
musical from 1965 called "Do I Hear a Waltz?" and there's a whole song about the travails of airline travel at the time, and there's part that is all about the food. The shiny stuff is tomatoes, the salad lies in a group. The curly stuff is potatoes, the stuff that moves is soup. Anything that is white is sweet, anything that is brown is meat, anything that is gray donate. And, that was kind of the reputation for the next few decades. Of course, this change in the quality of the cuisine really only affected the economy class or coach class. And nothing exemplifies
what
this
can
kind of divide
what can us
between
poor
coach
folks do?
and first class at the time better than the Great Sandwich War. See, it was 1958, and the International Air...
The Great Sandwich War. Redman.
The Great Sandwich War?
Sandwich. Nom, nom, nom. Bah!
Nom, nom, nom.
Sandwich. Make me strong.
Why do I sound like that?
Sandwich.
Makes me strong.
And after they just like punch each other in the plane.
Oh boy.
Whoever survives get to
Sandwich
land.
war.
Whoever survives get to land safely. Also, why is it says operation? Why is it says operation?
Cooperation.
No, it says operation. It's
There's like a small
triple O.
gap. This is
No,
printed.
your eyes is wrong. It says operation. This is operation.
Transport Association, who made sure that all planes around
This
the
is
world were
operation.
following the same rules,
You dumb.
decided to allow for the first economy tickets to be purchased in transatlantic flights. But because they were going to be less expensive than the average ticket, they had to take stuff away, and this meant that nobody got any food any hot food who purchased this. All they could get was a sandwich. But
Sandwich.
there was Pan Am, an American airline, who said that a sandwich was some meat with bread.
Cooperation.
And
No,
then
it's
there were the
operation, okay?
European sandwiches, and they went all out.
Honestly,
You get
I'd
5
take a
slices of
sandwich when
ox
it's
tongue, a lettuce
absolutely
heart,
well made.
asparagus, and sliced carrots
I don't think
on
you
a slice
want
of
plain
bread.
sandwich,
or 5
man.
slices of liver pate,
No,
fried crisp bacon,
not plain
mushrooms,
sandwich,
and
any
sliced
sandwich,
tomato on a slice of bread. Basically, it
Hmm.
was a whole meal.
The one
on a
that
slice
looks
of
like
bread,
what's
so
that
it
called?
was
A full.
sandwich.
That looks
And
like a
Pan
video
Am was
game item that
well, they're using that
increases
to their
your health to
advantage.
max.
We're supposed to be on an even playing field.
Or refills
so
your health to
the-
max.
The association had to come up with a definition
The perfect
of a
sandwich.
A sandwich must
Sandwich.
be cold, largely of bread or something similar, unadorned,
Yes.
self-contained, and must not include
Yes.
such fillings as caviar, oysters, or lobster. Basically,
Exactly.
give the economy class passengers the meagerest food that you can possibly find, a theme which is still with us today. But should you have been able to afford a first-class fare, then the great meals would have continued. And should you have gobs of money available to you, then starting in 1969, you could book passage on the Concorde. The Concorde flew between cities in
Concorde?
Western Europe and
Wait,
the
I
East
haven't
Coast
seen this
Concorde,
plane
the
for like
video
a while.
game?
So at
No,
twice the
for
speed
real,
of
I haven't
sound,
seen this plane
it
for
would
like a
get you to
while.
your destination in just 3.5 hours.
I didn't
This
know
is
it was
not being
this.
Were
used
flown
today,
mostly
right?
by British
I
Airways
think it's
and
still
Air
used
France.
being today.
And
Yeah,
the cop-
I'm pretty sure Concorde plane is thing being used today. I haven't seen that shit for like a while. What the fuck? I think like
I
the
don't think
last,
that-
I think the last time I saw that
Uh-huh.
was like when I was still in high school. Like I saw it in like a picture book. Oh shit, I gotta look it up. It's like still being used. I don't think it's still.
Let me check. Concorde, supersonic passenger carrying commercial plane, built in the 1960s. Part of a joint venture between UK and France. The
Oh no,
Concorde
it's
was the first commercial
gone.
aircraft.
2003. It was
Only
it was-
14.
Damn.
Yeah, only 14 went into service, and then 2003 is where it's
Apparently it's because of the
Uh,
goddamn
out of
nose.
use.
It's because of the goddamn nose got damaged.
Oh my god, the fucking nose, bro.
It was tilted. The face was tilted. It looks like a fucking seagull looking down, man.
No, it's not.
No, I'm being serious. It looks like a fucking seagull. Hang on. No, let me show you. Let me show
where
you the
is
picture I
that?
saw
Hang
it.
on.
There. It's like a goddamn seagull. Look at that. Mine.
No. It's not. It's not this. It's this. Check your chat. I mean, check your thing.
What? Check what? I don't see anything. It's goddamn
No,
hamster.
check your,
Oh my
uh,
god,
DM.
Ratman, that's so bad. You shouldn't be ashamed of yourself, man.
It looks like a hamster, bro.
Fucking Pinocchio over here. What the fuck is this face, bro?
It a hamster.
Why is it face like that? Like, I keep questioning myself. Why is it fucking face like that? Are you seeing this? This is how it flies.
Yes, I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Why are you like that? Why are you like this?
Bro looking like a fucking hamster, bro.
Looking down upon your peasant from Sodom below. What the fuck? What is this fucked up face of a fucking pigeon?
I don't get why it flies like that. It's so weird for real,
Why is
actually.
where? How? Oh, it's just starting farting out. Literally seeing that.
Beaks to feed the baby planes.
We don't make fun of you.
Hamster.
Why is Concord plane face is fucked up? Oh, Google, tell me why. Yeah, what's up with the face? Why is it droop like that? The nose drops so the pilot can still see ahead of them. Like, yeah, a normal plane you cannot see forward.
Damn. Okay.
What's up with that face, bro?
Plague doctor's mask. That too, actually.
Playing doctor's mask. Oh, it can look down. It doesn't talk like it can look down. Are you saying that? Are you saying the video?
Yeah,
It
I'm
can
seeing
bend.
it. What the fuck? Isn't that also like, most of the air goes in like the middle, right? And then
Why
it,
is it bend like
diverts.
that? What is wrong with
But
you?
still,
Why can you be normal? I feel like I hurt this feeling. I feel like I hurt this feeling. It's just sad at this point. I feel like I hurt this feeling.
Wait. Hang on.
Bang! Bang, motherfucker!
Where is it?
Wait, red one. Here's what.
Wait. What?
Are you saying what I'm seeing right now?
Are you going to?
Hang on. This specific one. Are you seeing what I'm seeing right now, man? Are you seeing this? Are you
Oh
seeing
my
this?
god.
This thing? What is this? This thing is hideous!
Oh my god. No.
This
I was
thing
thinking of the
hideous,
3D
bro! What
Morty
the
face.
fuck?
I was thinking of the 3D Morty face.
Can I like...
The one where he stretches out.
Oh my god. This man is horrible. What is this? He was really sad. Let me do it for you.
Let me do it for you. Oh no.
Man, I hate this fucking dog, man. I hate this fucking dog. Fuck you, you peasant bitch. I hate you. This thing.
Wait.
What is this?
Wait. Open
What is
this.
this?
Check this. Check your DMs and open that.
This dog with the
Check your
fucking.
DMs.
Let me do it for you. Oh my god, let me guess. Fuck you, Redmond. Shut up.
Okay.
I hate this video, man.
You're welcome.
I hate this. I hate you. I feel like bringing you right now to this place is a major problem in my brain. I hate this. I hate everything about this plane, bro.
In
This
chat, for
plane.
context, I sent her a video of the 3D Morty sniffing meme. So that's what it looks like. You can show it to them, I guess.
I don't want to show it to them. I will spare them the pain. Oh my god, this is so bad.
If not, I'm gonna put in general.
Whatever, dude. This is so bad. Oh my god. The technology is 50 years old and nothing replaced it. Oh, still one of the fastest plane. is it like? Oh my god, this fucking dog! I hate this fucking dog. I'm gonna slap the shit out of it. Hold up a second. Okay, am I just stupid or is this plane idea is this like what you call it? Hang on.
Is that the F1? No.
This entire plane, right? The idea of that entire plane is just
Yes.
literally like
Hey, yo, what you jet? Hey, yo, what you jet?
this is literally the entire idea of the plane. There.
Fair point.
This is the entire idea of the plane. Like, generally, they said they do this so they can see, the pilot can see forward. The entire thing, you can literally see forward. What do you want to see down there? What is wrong with you? What do you want to see down there? The amount of penny that people drop on the ground. What is this?
Let me fight for you.
It's kind of like this, Redmond. Kind of like this. Make it fucking long. Like that. There, that's what you want. Fuck you. What is this dog shit?
It just really screams the.
It's just like a fuck. It's just like a dog sniffing on the ground. It's basically this.
Oh.
The plane is to turn to see. Fucking hell. Alright, stop it! Oh my god. I'm done. This whole thing is bullshit. Okay.
Cost of a ticket, depending on the time, could cost as much as 30 times the average price of an economy ticket. But for that, you got there a lot faster, and you got quite the meal. What followed the...
Wait. Maybe, hold on a second. What do you say?
What? Maybe they couldn't see the runway.
Maybe they're gonna send me. Okay. If you have a nose that's so big, if you walk, you literally step on it. Do you really want to step on it? That thing is literally its nose, and it's just scraping on the runway if you pull it down. Why won't you want to do that?
Coffee was a breakfast of fresh
The jet is
papaya,
Argentinian.
guava, pineapples, strawberries, and mangoes.
Huh.
Croissants and brioche that might have come from a Paris bakery. A pretty good approximation of eggs Benedict and a soufflé gruyere, all washed down with Piper Heidsieck Cuvée
Welcome aboard,
Diplomatique. The china,
Eggs
of
Benedict.
course, was Limoges. What really ended the splendid
Emergency
food
break.
of
I don't think you
airlines,
wanted
as
the
well as
emergency break
golden
with that
age of
nose on
air
the
travel
floor, man.
itself was the age of deregulation, which started in 1978. Airfare had been regulated for decades, making it so that the only way the airlines had to compete was through perks
We're gonna say
like
this not
wonderful
guided stuff. What are you,
food
fucking
and
snake?
their flight attendants or stewardesses, leg room, the comfort,
He's just
entertainment,
sniffing,
or
bro.
those
This is
flights
sniffing
where
on the
they
ground
had
like a dog.
Dogs and bugles playing throughout.
Yeah,
the
I was just
cabin
gonna say
at
that.
breakfast. I wouldn't like that. But with the deregulation, they could start to do
Stop!
price wars.
Stop it!
And
It's not
this was
funny.
good
It's not
and
funny.
bad. The good part was that it dramatically lowered the price of airfare.
Fuck was that
For
burping?
instance, this TWA
What the
list of
fuck is
flights
that
from
face, bro?
1955 shows that a flight from
What is
Boston
that?
to Los Angeles cost $106. That's about $1,200.
That face is shit,
in
bro.
today's money. Also, since planes were a lot slower at
That
the
face
time
is some
and had to
shit.
make multiple stops, that flight took 12 hours. No thanks. But these price drops made it so a lot
Okay,
more
Redmond,
people
stop, man.
had flying available.
12-hour
to them.
flights? I'd
But
dig with that with
also
like a
meant
modern
that
planes and
the
shit.
quality of the flight
Shit
would,
in
of
yourself.
course,
12
go
hours
down.
sitting on
More
a
seats
fucking
in planes
chair.
were required to make up for lower fares, which meant a far less comfortable flight. and there were also fewer options.
Now that's
for food.
disgusting.
On many flights,
Jesus,
there
that
was-
What is
you have
that?
to you have to assemble it yourself.
themselves as the peanut
Is that a
area.
sandwich?
And for most of my
You have to
childhood,
assemble it
Ew.
yourself, bro.
my dad
It's
coming
like a
back
Lego, okay?
from,
Just in case you're
business
bored.
trips, always on Southwest Airlines, it feels like, and he'd have his pockets just filled with these little bags of peanuts, or if I was lucky, the honey roasted peanuts, and that was wonderful. Now, the early 80s saw the golden age of air travel, especially in economy class, come to an end. Many business and first-class flights still go to great lengths to offer quality food, often getting top chefs to prepare menus for the airline. But for me, I don't really mind. I'd rather pay less and get, a stupidly expensive sandwich at the airport and just bring it on with me. The one food you should never bring on an airplane is French fries. I never do that. It just smells up the whole cabin. Don't do that.
And it's also like
You
really
can
oily as
because of,
well.
like-
bring on this
It's really oily
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah,
it
because
is
of
also
oil.
smelling up the cabin, my house. But
And
it's
you're basically like,
really
you know,
good.
putting
So as soon as
oils around the
pot roast is
area.
cooked
It's just
through,
disgusting.
Take it out and simmer down the liquid to about half and then strain it out. And save the onions and other vegetables back to serve with the roast itself. And now to prepare a very quick dessert or salad, because even though this is absolutely a dessert, it's actually in the salad section of the book. You'll need 4 tart apples cut into small pieces, then add
I don't like
32 mini
apple.
marshmallows and cut 8 maraschino cherries in quarters and mix those all together with the
I
marshmallows
hate apple.
and the apples.
It's just disgusting.
It's just salad, bro.
I hate apple. Apple
In a separate bowl,
disgusting.
whip a cup of heavy cream into whipped cream and then add a teaspoon of lemon juice, a teaspoon and a half of mayonnaise, and a teaspoon and a half of honey. Mix it all together.
What
then
food
mix it
do
with
you
the
like?
apples,
I like
and it's
banana.
ready to go. And here we are, a full meal worthy of a United Airlines flight from the
Potassium.
golden age of air travel. I just have to show you this tray. I put
Okay,
the
that's
cups over there,
actually
but
not bad.
how cool is this? It's actually not from the 50s. It's from the, I believe, the early 60s. I think they said it was about 1963 or 4. But I just thought it was so cool. It's an actual tray from the time. It even has like little salt and peppers. And of course, plasticware. So I'm going to try to eat a pot roast with this. Let's give it a try.
I don't know. I just get like, you know,
All right, even after
unless the knife is sharp,
60
then
years,
yeah.
the knife is pretty good. Let's go.
Okay.
I knew it would be amazing because it smelled so good. It is so tender, it just falls apart. I really like the addition of kind of adding in the onions and the other things that we're cooking on top of it. Unless you get like a bay leaf, don't eat a whole bay leaf, but it's so flavorful, and I will be eating the whole thing over the next couple days. Now let's try the potatoes.
Okay.
So I think that I made a mistake and didn't chop them as fine as I should have. I mean, the flavor's great. It's cream and potatoes and Parmesan cheese. What's not to like? I just think that if I had diced them a little finer, the texture would be a little bit better, or at least they'd be a bit better coated with the cream mixture. Honestly, even doing these as mashed potatoes, I think that's how I'd prefer them. And finally, on to our salad dessert. And get a little bit of everything, a little apple, little cherry.
Not bad.
It's not as sweet as I expected. Now, the original recipe says you could
So it's
actually
a
add
balanced
sugar.
dessert
I
then.
wouldn't. These
Not
are
too
tart
much
apples,
sugar
but they're not. It's not tart. It has a little zing from the apples and from the lemon juice, but it's plenty sweet. It doesn't need to be any sweeter because I mean there's plenty of sweet stuff in there. But it reminds me
It's
of
just natural
ambrosia,
sweetness, I see.
kind of. If you've ever had
Yeah.
ambrosia, my nana would once in a while make that.
But it makes 12
Easter.
years and I don't think they taste
It's
anything.
fun. It's delicious.
Yeah, that's why he said if
wouldn't
they
call it a
added like a lot
salad.
of
It is
sugar to make you
definitely a
feel
dessert,
something.
But you know. So I gotta say, all 3 dishes really good. I would make all 3 again. I'd probably mash the potatoes, but that's the only change I would make. That pot roast is definitely going on my in my repertoire of weekly or
Wasn't that
probably
also
monthly
called for
dishes to
just the
make.
pressure as well
And
inside
I
the
will see you next
cabin, or
time
the-
on Tasting History.
Yeah, he did mention because of the humidity. So you know, the higher you get, it's like the colder it gets, right?
Yep.
So
No
yeah,
wonder they had to keep it heated.
they have to keep it heated, and they also like have to add a lot of things because again, your palate is like tasteless.
Super
because of that.
sensitive. Yeah.
not sensitive. You don't feel anything. You don't feel jack shit.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they have to literally put a lot of sugar in it. Literally turns into cocaine bear. So yeah. Okay, so last
Okay.
video for today. This one's pretty short again. No, this one is pretty short. Yeah. Okay.
When it comes to the food that was served to astronauts in those early days of space
Putis.
travel, it was usually things like rehydrated purees in a squeeze tube, gelatinous cubes of bread, and perhaps most famous
Morning,
of all,
he will drink Tang.
the drink of astronauts,
This
which
morning,
was a popular
he
ingredient
will
to use
drink
in Tang pie in
Tang.
the 1960s. So thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video as we look at the history of
Hey,
space
Factor.
food, this time on Tasting History.
Why isn't surprised?
Factor is also good too as well.
All right, so I think we are in week 4 of Transportation Month. We've done planes, we've done trains, we've done covered wagons, no automobiles. But today
Oh, we didn't
we
do
are
trains and wagons.
transporting ourselves to the moon because we are doing foods that
Sorry.
were served in space. Unfortunately,
What the fuck was that thing on the left? What is that? Are you seeing it?
That looks like a tiger. I don't think
Okay,
it's a
that makes
tiger.
sense.
actually cooking foods that are served in space, it's kind of hard to do because even though the actual recipes themselves might be doable in a home kitchen,
Chopping board in the back,
processes
though.
that you have to do to actually make them
Space shuttle on
as
the
they would
right.
be served in space, you just don't have. You have like industrial equipment to suck out all
Fuck
the air
is
and
this picture,
dehydrate
bro?
things far more than anything that you could actually get in your home could do. But in the 1960s, people were given the option
Tang.
of trying something that the astronauts actually drank up in space, and that is Tang, made with Tang flavor crystals.
Wake up to Tang.
Now, these came on the market in 1959, having been invented in 57 by food scientist William Mitchell. And in 1962, NASA sent these flavor crystals up with John Glenn when he went into space so they could be rehydrated and drunk up there. Now, because of that, a lot of people thought that Tang was actually developed by NASA, but it wasn't. It was developed by a company called General Foods, but they did nothing to dissuade the fact that people
This-
thought that it was an
Let me
actual
guess,
NASA
did they make
Well,
minigun
in
as
fact,
well?
they kind of
Like
doubled
General
down on it
Motors.
and used it in a lot of their
Maybe.
marketing. They even developed a recipe for astronaut pie, or Tang pie, which they marketed as the pie of the future. Spoiler alert, it is not the pie of the future. Not many people eat it these days. But it was very popular in the late 60s, and
dehydrated.
it helped
Of course
the company
nobody would
because
fucking
not only
eat
did
it.
it use Tang, but it also used a new invention of theirs called
Why does the name Cool Whip kind of I don't know why, but when I see this, I thought it looks like how do you call it? Shaving.
No.
No, I thought it was like
Shaving cream?
Yes. I don't know why. It's also like because of the name as well. Cool Whip. I thought it was like, guys use it, on their beard or
Yeah.
mustache, make it look like cool. I don't know why. I mean, I'm a type of person to like eat like hair cream. Okay, don't get me wrong. I did, and I almost died because of that. Don't get me wrong. This looks like
1950s be like.
this looks like a shaving cream. Okay. Comes with what now? Sorry. Can you repeat that again?
It
What
helped the
did you
company
say?
Because not only did it use Tang, but it also used a new invention of theirs called
Comes with what now? Comes with yum yum again? Sorry? What?
We can't have pie without Cool Whip.
It was actually also developed by William Mitchell, who also developed a lot of foods during World War II for
You
the
ate
troops,
shaving cream.
including
Not
a
shaving cream, hair
tapioca-less
cream.
tapioca,
To
which
like
they
keep your
called
hair
Mitchell
like in
mud,
shape.
named after
That's
him.
thing.
And he invented Pop Rocks, which I absolutely
Okay, so I'll give context to that hair cream as well. So when I was like a young lass, right? When I was like a young lass, my mom tricked me into thinking, this ice cream, and I even did a rush over to like eat it from her hand, and then I almost like died because of that because I ate too much. Like she put like entire one of
Brain
those like
freeze?
no, she put like one
Wait,
of those
what?
like it's like hair cream, like hair gel stuff like no hair foam stuff like that. It looks like an
Okay.
ice cream, like an ice whipped ice cream, and I just like grab it out of her hand, like I ripped it out of her hand, eat it like immediately, and I just like I almost get poisoned because of that. I was like really young. I was like really young back then. I think like 7 or 8 years old. So yeah.
Okay, but I
No, I
understand.
throw
If
up.
it's 7,
I
8
literally
days
throw
overdue,
up.
still, yeah.
Granted, I haven't had them in like
But still,
30
though.
years, but I used to love them. But neither Pop Rocks or Mitchell Mud are in this recipe, which says, mix condensed milk and tang. Add
Young
in
and
sour
dumb.
cream until well blended. Then fold in tub of Cool Whip. Pour into pie crust and refrigerate for 4 hours or until set and cold. Now it's because it needs to
I'm
be
a stupid
refrigerated
kid,
that the pie
okay?
never actually made it up into space, because in those early days of space travel, they had no way to refrigerate anything. There were no refrigerators.
Listen,
there
okay.
was no way to
Hold
heat
up.
food.
Okay.
It was just
Listen.
kind of
I'm a
everything
type
was
of
a-
person. I'm a type of person who ate like pencil head. Okay? Out of boredom, out of sheer boredom. I just eat pencil head, okay? Listen, I like doing that because masochism, okay? It's a funny thing, you know? It's funny. Why are you guys judging me for that? What is wrong with you guys?
room temperature or slightly above, I guess. So it really makes you grateful that you have things like a
I
refrigerator
question
and
it.
microwave in your home
Why are you
kitchen,
questioning it? Stop
which is really
questioning
all
it.
you need to enjoy a meal
I'm
from today's
stupid.
sponsor,
Why are you questioning
Factor.
it?
Factor is a ready-to-eat meal service that delivers fresh,
I
never
can't
frozen
buy
meals
it, Max.
right
I'm
to
sorry.
your
I'm not
door.
American.
I really don't think it matters. Then you also need 1 graham cracker crust, which you can buy already made, but you can
Because
also
you
make
judged
it
the plane
yourself by
earlier.
taking
Fuck the
1.5
plane.
cups
Plane's
or
stupid.
170 grams of graham cracker crumbs and adding 3 tablespoons of brown sugar plus 7
Brown sugar?
tablespoons
Okay.
or 100
Okay.
grams of
Water.
melted butter. Mix all of that together and then press it into the sides and bottom of a 9-inch pie plate. Then pop it in the
This
fridge
is like
to
using
firm up a
glass
little
to
bit
make
while
that
you make your
shape.
filling. And for that, all you do
Yeah.
is take the sweetened condensed milk and put it in a large bowl and then stir in the tang crystals. And this is where the tang, like magic, turns into a shocking shade of orange. Then add the sour cream and stir it in until smooth. Finally, add the Cool Whip just a bit at a time, folding it in until just combined. You want to make sure you maintain all of that
The
Cool
plane
Whip
does its
flukiness.
best.
Then pour the mixture into the graham cracker crust and smooth it out on top. Then pop it in the fridge for at least 4 hours to let it firm up, and that will give us plenty of time to head back to the 1960s and see what those first people in space were eating for dinner.
Space.
So while tang was one of the first foods ever taken up into space, it was not the first. And that's because tang was for astronauts, but the first person to eat in space was a cosmonaut, or someone who was from the Soviet side.
Soviet,
Astronauts
yes.
were from the
They
American
call it
side.
cosmonaut.
On April 12, 1961, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin
Yuri
became
Gagarin.
the first person to journey into outer
Hey,
space.
that's that guy
He
from
was
Darkwood.
aboard Vostok 1, and during his 108 minutes orbiting the Earth,
Is it
he
actually?
ate the very first meal
What do you
in
mean?
space, which was beef and liver paste
The name?
squeezed from a metal tube,
Yeah.
followed by a tube of chocolate sauce for dessert. A few months later, cosmonaut German Titov also consumed food in space, shortly afterward becoming the first person to vomit in space. And then
Man, the
it was
food
finally
sucks.
the Americans' turn, not to vomit, but to eat in space. Now, even though the Soviets had already eaten something in space, I guess the conversation was not really happening between them and NASA very much at the time, because NASA was still questioning if people even could eat in space, namely swallowing. You might not be able to get the food to go down without gravity, and so food or water would just kind of sit in your esophagus and you'd drown. But I'm hoping they were pretty sure that that wasn't going to happen, because they told John Glenn Jr., who was the first American to go up into space, that he had to eat and drink something up there. It was on Friendship.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, if the guy eat and he survive, that already answered the question. If they eat and dies, that's your question. That's your answer. He's dead. But I did read something, right? It's the regardless of like your esophagus, even if you like eat something, and it already like somewhere in your throat, how do you call it? Your esophagus gonna push it down because they already like knows the system. It can only go down unless you force it go up. It's just if it's in your stomach, it's in just in your stomach. If it's in your stomach, there is a way for it to force itself out. But if it's in your esophagus, it will force itself down. That's why you don't breathe when you swallow, because there's no way to get it out. You have to throw up.
7 as he
That's, like,
orbited the
more
Earth
complicated than
on
I thought it
February
would be.
20th,
Body memories.
1962. And I can confirm that he did not drown. What I'm not entirely sure of is exactly what he drank. Was it water or was it Tang? I know he had Tang very shortly after this, but he might have had it that first time too. I'm not entirely sure. When it comes to food, we do know what he
Since
ate.
if you
because the New
swallow
York Times
anything
wrote
lying
about
down,
it.
there is a
Glenn
zero
had
G. So
space
yeah,
snacks
there
by
is no
food.
problem. Just
Food
eat it.
Squeezed via helmet hole. Within about 20 minutes after he had soared aloft, Lieutenant Colonel John H. Glenn Jr. apparently had the first snack in space. The Mercury Control Center here reported that he dipped into his space food at 10:09 as he passed the tracking station at Kano, Nigeria. He squeezed the food out of special tubes resembling oversized tubes of toothpaste. His two
He eat the oversized tube of toothpaste. Huh.
I mean, it's larger than a regular toothpaste,
Smart.
but it's
course menu
one way to
consisted
eat.
of
Yeah.
a beef vegetable
I mean, that's
mixture
the
and
only way. Just squeeze it
applesauce.
up.
His
Just like
squeezed
it
food
comes
was
out.
semi-solid,
Yeah.
which means
That's
it
the only
was
way you
pretty
can
much
eat.
like baby food, but with adult seasoning and sugar added. Now, why, you may ask, is all their food needing to be
You gotta
squeezed
need
from a
your
tube?
daily necessity,
Well,
man.
in 1964, when Scott Carpenter
Nuh-uh.
tried to eat cookies on his flight, the
It
crumbs
breaks.
stayed behind to float
Yeah.
in front of his face like so many large particles of...
Okay, that's funny because I saw like a video of fuck, what's this guy name? Like there's this Canadian astronaut who like goes to space and he's just like how do you explain to people like how do you eat outside because you can't just eat bread,
Wait,
right?
I know,
If you-
I know. This guy's name is Chris, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Chris
hang
Hadfield.
on.
Chris Hadfield, that's his name.
Chris Hadfield.
Yeah.
No,
so,
it's not.
No,
Is it Hadfield?
I think it's Chris Hadfield.
Oh,
I'll look it up.
Hadfield. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Chris Hadfield.
Yeah.
So he explained like in the video like how does like astronaut like eat in space and he explained that you cannot just eat bread because the crumbs goes anywhere, right? And you don't want to like
Yeah.
things nasty around. So they use like soft skin tortilla.
Tortilla
right?
bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And use it like as a bread as a replacement for bread because it's like a lot easier to like chew and swallow and doesn't like go anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also like their
Yep.
drinks and their drinks as well have to be like in a like a package, like a plastic package.
Pouch.
So, yeah. It's a lot easier because you cannot just have glass. Even if you have glass, you try to pour it, just goes everywhere. Which is funny,
Fair
but
enough,
it's
and
also stick.
especially-
It's funny, but
At
also like
least it's
stick
on
everywhere.
a pouch.
Hmm?
At
also,
least it's
like, in
on a pouch because if that water goes anywhere, I think the ISS is just gonna crumble into like I don't know.
Mhm. I think what's
Fire
funny
hazard
about,
and also electrical hazard. But
How
yeah.
to go, I think what's funny about that, right, is that how to go. How do you say it? Like 100 years ago, we don't know what space is, and then like 60 years ago, we found out that things float in space.
Things float in space.
Things float in space, man. What are you gonna do about that? And it is what's funny about it is as well like when they come back to Earth, they don't know that things doesn't float. So just like they keep dropping stuff on the ground.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It just feels weird.
Fascinates.
It feels weird
Weirdly
seeing that like
fascinates.
like the outside of our world is like this. It just feels weird.
dust. And the problem with having crumbs up in space is not just that it makes a huge mess, but as The Simpsons showed us.
They'll clog the instruments!
Now, while The Simpsons are famous for predicting future events that then go on to actually happen, in this case, it was the real-life event that preceded The Simpsons. On March 23, 1965, astronaut John Young hid a corned beef sandwich in his spacesuit, and during the mission, he pulled it out and offered it to his fellow astronaut, Gus Grissom. Well, upon taking a bite of the sandwich, a bunch of rye crumbs started to float around the cabin.
Oh, no.
Now, Young was like, hey, it's just a prank, bro, but NASA did not see this as a harmless prank, and it actually led to congressional hearings and big ol' hullabaloo, and it led to a bunch of new restrictions on the astronauts.
I mean, yeah,
about
if the
exactly
crumb's stuck
what
in
they
like a
could
bottle,
take
so
into
they cannot
space.
pick it
Now,
up.
today,
That's the
instead of
problem.
bread, they usually just eat tortillas up in space.
Yeah, this is the one that
because
we
they don't
talked
have
about.
crumbs, and they have a really long shelf life. But in the 1960s, we were a nation of bread eaters, and so NASA had to figure out a way to come up with a crumbless bread. And they did that by compressing it into
Man, that's
bite-sized
disgusting.
cubes and then spraying
like
it
a-
with
it
looks
a
like
a
starch,
jerky.
which acted like a
Bread
gelatin
cubes.
cover.
Oh
And it
my
wasn't just bread.
God.
They
A
made
secret
food
cookie.
cubes out of everything from pre-cooked bacon and eggs to cheese and crackers, peanut butter, strawberries, cookies. If you could think of it, NASA could turn it into a little
Corn
cube that wasn't very good
Minecraft.
to eat. Because usually it was like dehydrated and then compressed into a cube and then packaged, and so when the astronaut would pop it in their mouth, it would rehydrate and they'd eat it, but it was kind of mush and lost its flavor. Not usually very
Yeah.
good. Most of the
Uh-huh.
food that
And
was going up
especially
for the
ha- even though
astronauts
that you
was
combine
not
with
very
water,
good.
it's-
Not just
it
in
still
flavor,
lost its
but
flavor.
in texture, because it was either being cubed like this or dehydrated to the point of just being powder, much more than like a dehydrator that you'd have at home. And so, yes, they would add water and rehydrate it, but then it was just like mush. Astronaut Gordon Cooper was the first to try this space mush when he failed to enjoy a bag of roast beef. Though both the mush and the food cubes seem to have been preferred over the tubes of food that they had on those early missions. What I find really interesting is that the dehydrated food, it was much lighter, obviously, but they didn't need to take into account the weight of the water that would be used to hydrate it, because they didn't take the water with them into space. They made the water in space. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, no, really, but I
Recycling.
am led to believe that in those early spacecrafts, the fuel cells made electricity by mixing hydrogen and oxygen somehow, and that led to a byproduct of water, and it was that water that they would use to rehydrate
They use like the
food,
recessed water.
so they didn't have to count it and in the weight of the spacecraft going up. Ingenious. Now, when it came to
Okay,
taste,
real talk,
the
I thought
actual
they suggest
dehydrating
is gonna
food
like
took a lot of that
collect
out, I
their
guess.
saliva in their
And
mouth and
even
use it
worse,
to like
when they would
make it wet.
rehydrate it, the astronauts often said that it kind of
I
took on
mean,
the flavor
you
of
and
the
you
plastic
desperate,
bag
man.
that it was in, so it all just kind of tasted the
Fair,
same, none of
I
which
guess,
was
but
good.
no.
More popular was the freeze-dried food, which they eventually started bringing on, and it didn't take out as much water content, so it kept more of the texture of the original food and more of the flavor. So those ended up becoming more popular, but they couldn't freeze dry
That's just
everything, I
shrimp.
guess. A lot of things still had to be dehydrated. Now, they were testing all sorts of other ways to preserve
I mean,
food, and
you
one of my
can't just
favorites
freeze dry
was actually
everything.
done
You
by
just kinda, like,
Dr. Sidney
ruin the
Schwartz,
better
who
things.
had made food
Yeah.
for the Navy when they had gone down to Antarctica. But when it came to the space food, what he did was he worked out a recipe on paper and shopped in a Bethpage, New York supermarket for $5 worth of groceries: flour, cornstarch, powdered milk, banana flakes, and hominy grits. Now, had that been the full recipe, I would have just made that today. But it was the way that he actually prepared those ingredients that I just can't do at home. After mixing the ingredients, he baked them in a hydraulic press at 400 degrees Fahrenheit under 3,000 pounds of pressure. The result was a brick of food that he said was as hard as tempered masonite and would require a saw, an electric saw, to actually cut through. Essentially, he had made astronaut hardtack. And
Oh
just
my
like
God.
the sailors of yore,
Oh my
it had
God.
to be pulverized into a dust and then put into water and soaked for several hours before it even became palatable. But once it had, he said it tasted like breakfast cereal topped with bananas. I rather like it, though I don't think it ever actually made it up into space. But in 1964, the Los Angeles Times did tell us about some foods that were making it into space on the upcoming Gemini missions. And yes, it's pronounced Gemini. I always thought it was Gemini.
Gemini?
Like,
Gemini. There's
the
Gemini.
zodiac sign, but according to NASA in 1965, they said, nope, we pronounce it Gemini. I kind of think it was because some of the people working on it didn't know that it was pronounced Gemini, but they refused to
Hey,
admit
listen,
that,
they
and
created
so
that. They can name it whatever they want.
Anyway, the Los Angeles Times said, to eat, astronauts will sit strapped in chairs side by side with a water source between them. After inserting the nozzle in one end of a dehydrated food package, they'll wait for the food to be reconstituted and then eat from the other end of the bag. On the 2-week Gemini flight, astronauts will have a 2,500 calorie a day diet in 4 meals. The proposed menu for days 1, 5, 9, and 13 is Meal A: sugar frosted flakes, sausage patties, toast squares, and orange grapefruit juice. Meal B: tuna salad, cheese sandwiches, apricot pudding, and grape juice. Meal C: beef pot roast, carrots and cream sauce, toasted bread cubes, pineapple cubes, and tea. Meal D: potato soup, chicken bites, toast squares, applesauce, brownies, and grapefruit juice. So it was a good amount of food. The only issue was getting the astronauts to actually eat it. There were a lot of missions where they'd be sent up with 2,500 calorie a day meals, but they would only eat less than 1,000 calories. Part of this was because the taste was not great due to being in space. The fluids inside of their body would pool more in their head than usual because of very little gravity, and so they would kind of always have a stuffy nose, so it just made it so they couldn't taste anything anything really. The other issue was that the food sucked. The way that it was processed, the flavor was gone, it was mush, they just didn't like it. But there was a huge leap forward at Christmas of 1968. It was on Apollo 8, the first space flight to reach the moon. And on Christmas Day, the three-man crew, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders, opened their food locker to find a surprise. It was a full Christmas dinner, still processed, but a full Christmas dinner wrapped up in foil and then decorated with red and green ribbons. It was a turkey and gravy dinner complete with cranberry, applesauce, grape drink, and coffee. And while it might not look like much, the astronauts did say it was some of the best food they'd ever had in space. And this was because the turkey and gravy specifically was not fully dehydrated or freeze-dried or made into a little cube, but was served in something new called a wet pack. And this let a lot of the moisture stay in the food, so not only did the flavor stay, but some of the texture too. This was done by a process called thermostabilization, which is essentially heating it to a temperature where it kills many of the microorganisms, similar to the way that you do canning. And this became a very new and popular way of making their food, but it seems that the food cubes and the dehydrated food stuck around because we know what they ate on the moon. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin spent a little less than 24 hours on the moon, during which time they'd eat 2 meals. Their first scheduled meal to be eaten on the moon will consist of bacon squares, peaches, sugar cookie cubes, pineapple grapefruit drink, and coffee.
Is Jen asleep? Hello?
No, I'm here, don't worry.
Chicken soup, date fruitcake, grape punch, and orange drink.
Yeah, I saw you.
I was like eating. No, I was like still eating. No.
They actually brought it back with them, and
I got like a chocolate cookie as well here. So yeah, I was like looking. I was like grabbing it. So yeah, so I don't like munching.
But should they get peckish while they're out there bouncing around on the moon itself?
Open the mouth, drink in the space.
That were stuck into the neck ring of their helmet, and they could like crane their neck and take a bite. I guess though that they didn't like this, and these stuck around all through NASA in the 60s and 70s, even into like spacewalks and stuff. They had these, but nobody really liked them because they would just get sticky and like get food all over your chin and everything. And it would be hours and hours before they could take the suit off and be back on the ship to clean it off. So usually what ended up happening was they would eat these bars before they even went out of the spacecraft.
I mean, you're not gonna take it off,
defeating the point of having them in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, while American
it's better to like eat it now, then just like throw it up later.
Foods, the Soviet cosmonauts were eating Soviet foods, foods that were popular in their neck of the woods. Things like Borodinsky brown bread, cabbage soup, sausages, and for one dinner on the Soyuz 9 in 1970, they had volba, smoked fish, karcho, spiced meat and rice soup, chicken or ham or meat.
Okay, it's not that far off from the American
bread,
one.
Prunes and nuts. There was also an interesting incident when Viktor Patsayev turned 38 in space in 1971 after his fellow cosmonauts toasted to his health with tubes of prune paste. Vladislav Volkov presented me with an onion and Georgy Dobrovolsky with a lemon. They had brought their presents from Earth and had kept silent about them, wanting to surprise me. I especially enjoyed the onion. Now, I find this a rather curious incident because what was he doing with that onion? Were they in paste?
He eat it like Shrek, you know.
Like an actual lemon?
Astronaut has layers, like onion, nom.
I couldn't find an explanation.
Just eat it.
I eat more onion most of the time.
Oh, this is NASA.
Yeah. Hot water
the
on
Poly
board
11.
so they could finally have a somewhat warm meal. But the real leap in food temperature came in 1973 with America's first space station, Skylab. It had a lot more room inside than the earlier space capsules, so they could have something resembling a kitchen. They had a dedicated dining space, a heater that could warm meals, and even a refrigerator.
Reminds me of the TARDIS from Doctor Who.
Which came in the form of frozen blue wafers that would melt when popped into
frozen blue wafers. Yeah, no, I like wafers as much as like the other person, but I don't want. What's Neapolitan? Nobody's Neapolitan.
When I was a kid, it is delicious, but it never actually went into space. It was also on the spaceship in 1973 that the electrical engineer Owen Garriott played a bit of a practical joke on Mission Control back down on Earth by sneaking aboard a
Major Tom. Can you read me, Major Tom?
See, Mission Control could only hear what was going on in the spacecraft, and all of a sudden, they heard Helen's voice. This is Helen in Skylab. The boys hadn't had a home-cooked meal in so long, I thought I'd just bring one up. Though my favorite space food practical joke definitely comes from the Soviets. Though
How did
it
they
was when the
kept-
Soviets and Americans met up for the first time in space. And so it was, I mean, they were on the phone with the president and it was being televised. It was a big come-together moment. And then one of the cosmonauts, Alexei Leonov, he offers the two astronauts, the Americans, tubes that said vodka on them. And it was like some of the best vodka from Russia. And they were like, no, we can't do that. That's against the rules. We'll,
yeah, that's
especially with
illegal,
the
yeah.
cameras here, we can't do that. And the Russians were like,
Hey, walang
come
singit.
on, we have to toast to this. It's a Russian tradition. You gotta have some. Well, not wanting to start an international incident, one of the Americans takes a drink and
Oh,
realizes,
yeah, the gorilla suit.
It's not vodka,
This is the gorilla.
it's borscht. Leonov had just switched the labels. Now, vodka did eventually make it into
Hi,
space,
walang
but it
hi
wasn't
din. It's
until
okay. It's okay.
1995,
We're actually on the last
after the fall
video,
of
so
the
yeah.
Soviet Union, when some of the rules became a little bit more lax, and they let vodka and cognac go up to the space station Mir. This allowed cosmonaut Valery Polyakov to take a shot to celebrate staying a record 437 days in
I feel like
space.
at
Now, by
at
this period,
any
food in
point, just like
space
we're
had
human after
completely
all, so yeah.
changed, and you
Just
look at
enjoy each
videos
other's
from the
company,
90s and the
being
early
lonely, in
2000s, and you
space.
see astronauts and cosmonauts at the different space
It's fine, don't
stations,
worry. You can
eating
always like
everything from
sort of one.
M&Ms to fresh fruit, pizza, granola bars. I'm sure they were
Oh
Nature
my
Valley
lord.
granola bars because, the crumbs.
The crumbs, yeah.
the instruments!
There are still freeze-dried and some dehydrated foods and stuff, but
I saw
the
like
days
okay.
of
Funny thing
food
actually, I
taste
saw
freeze-dried
like
food,
a
I
video
believe.
of this guy who like put how do you call it? Put the ice cream how do you like ice cream cake or something in pressurized, like depressurize it, right? And it just like crumble. It just crumble like like a cookie, even though
Like
it's supposed to be
dehydrate. Wait,
no depressurize
wait.
it.
In space? Wait, in space
No,
or
no, there's like
on
there's like a
Earth?
machine to like pressurize things, right? To like remove the air
I
out of everything, and it just
Uh-huh.
like it squeeze so hard that if you like try to pick it up, it actually crumble.
I think that's also the same thing of like some. I'm not sure if the same guy did it with like
It's like
either
glasses guy.
banana.
It's like glasses guy. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, he
Oh, if-
depressurized
I believe those had come
and
to an
a
end,
banana. I
but
think.
as late as 2008,
Make the banana
according
small.
to NASA, they were still sending up at
was
least a little bit
so
of
flat.
tang with different missions. But
I wanna eat
it was
banana
always
now.
in crystal form, never in pie form like I'm about to eat right now. And here we are, tang pie from
Pie.
the 1960s. I am glad that it's not as unbelievably bright orange as the tang was originally. With adding in the
It's like a tight pot.
Cool Whip
That's
and everything
radium.
kind of mellows it
Sorry.
out and makes it look not so bad. I'm gonna try to get some of
If
the
the
crust here and
tang
everything.
orange
It's
is
very
very
soft.
orange, that means it's
been in-
radium
Mine
in
has
it.
been in the refrigerator now.
I mean, from
Or at least,
1960, I guess.
know, 12
They get a
hours.
lot of those.
I guess.
Still
Yeah.
very soft. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, you're always late. It's fine. Don't worry. My fault is always around. You can always watch it.
Tang. All right.
Is it good?
So, I know why they call it tang.
Why?
That is tangy. That has some zing to it, some zip. I don't like that flavor
Is it okay?
at all. But I don't really like sour things.
Oh, it's
If you
sour.
don't like
Okay.
sour things, you actually might like this. What it kind of reminds me of is a sweet version, or a very sweet like lemon meringue or key lime pie. But I don't really like that. It's just too sour for me.
Okay, I don't
It
like sour
really
food
just
as well,
tastes
so I
like
think I
tang
will hate
and
it as
sugar,
well.
because that's kind of all it is. What I am pleasantly surprised about is the texture, because when I first mixed it all together, I took a little taste and it was super gritty because the tang flavor crystals hadn't like dissolved, but they are all dissolved. Now it's super smooth. I think if I was a kid who liked sour things, I would actually really, really like this. But as an adult who doesn't like sour things, it's not for me. But it might be for you. If you like key lime pie, maybe this is worth giving a shot. It's a lot easier. So have some
Maybe
space
it
food.
isn't
Join me
that
next
good
week
because
for
it's super
the wrap
sour.
up of Transportation Month here
They
on
did say
Tasting
this pretty
History, and I
sour.
will see you next week, hopefully,
Oh.
on Tasting History.
All right. So yeah, that's the last video for today. So yeah, that will be also the end of the watch along as well. Redmond, it's almost like 4 hours.
Is it actually?
This almost actually 3 hours 22 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we yap a lot.
Yes, it.
So yeah.
Yeah, we yapped a lot, but it's fine. That's perfectly fine. And
Okay,
also, while I'm seeing it, I
so
think you can just join in the next stream and later on.
so yeah. What do we learn today?
Food good. That's and also Fallout. Chicago.
Chicago. Chicago. It's just two demo men punching each other.
Jen on her 1.5 hour side quest.
Listen, man, I gotta finish this before I defeat the final boss. Okay, I gotta finish that. I didn't even finish the main quest. My life is in ruin. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be the end of the watch along as well. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you so much for all the Hamadachi out there watching the stream. Thank you so much for Redmond to joining the stream as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much for tasting history and Max Miller for allowing us to like did what the heck was that? I think the frog finally kissed him. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for tasting history and Max Miller for letting me stream his videos on the stream as well. So yeah. That'll be the end of the stream for now. Thank you so much everyone. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys on Wednesday for Black Mesa stream. So yeah. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys on Lamadachi next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, hi Ken. Ken, you are like really late right now. What the hell?
You're too late today.
I will shove some gold ball up your pie. Stop that.
Please no.
Yeah. Bye bye.
See you guys.
You guys wanna watch funny video?
Damn.
Don't cry, little monster. Uncle Monger's got enough character.
It has the same color as Tang.
Jerry!
That's not Tang!
I forced him to eat Tang.
The boy's hungry. Jerry!
It's the same color.
Cry, little monster. Uncle Monger's got enough.
This is cruel, man. This is cruel.
Oh my goodness.
It's so
And the
cruel.
fucking ending fucking image, bro. That's there.
Jerry!
No.
Oh my god.
No, please don't.
Alright, stop
Why
that.
is he mugging?
I don't know why is this smoking, man. I don't like this point of view. This point of view hurts me.
It scares me.
It's scary, man. I don't like this. Alright, I'm done. I'm going home.
Alright. I'll be laying down in the bed.
You know what?
What?
Now what?
I don't know. You're supposed to end it.
I don't know how to end this.
Huh?
Now let's watch a movie. No, we cannot do that.
Alright, last video.
Thousands of metallic fragments, destroying everything in its path, including major blood vessels.
I don't know why. I haven't. That's my. Oh, okay. That's my alarm clock going off. There's so many things that just happened today.
I'm so fucking done.
Food
I'm done.
good.
I'm done.
Fucking Fallout Chicago. A fucking frog landed in my fucking room.
Kiss
I
it.
guess.
Did you kiss it?
No, I lit it outside.
Kiss
I believe
it.
I lit it outside.
Kiss
No.
it. Kiss it.
No.
Kiss it. Kiss it. Listen, kiss the handsome prince, okay? Remember, Raiden, be gay and do crime. All right, I'm done. Bye bye, everyone. Redmond, say
Alright,
something.
take care. Alright, bye bye, guys.
All right, bye bye. All download that you out there. Hope you guys yeah. Hope you guys are wonderful. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye bye.
Bro, just end it.
Oh wait, I haven't finished. Wait, oh wait, oh no, okay. No, I thought I already ended it. Wait, okay. Oh no. Redman, shut the fuck up. Redman, shut up. Redman, you weird, bro. Stop it. Stop that shit, bro.
Why'd you enable Discord chat? I hear it.
I didn't hear shit. What are you talking about? Redman, you weird,
No, they
bro.
can hear it.
I don't hear shit. What
They
do you
can
mean?
hear it.
Hear what?
They can hear it.
Hear what? I don't understand what you're talking about.
They can hear
Man,
it.
you're delusional, bro. Hear what? I don't think they know what you're talking about, man. What are you talking about? Okay. Right, man, you weird, bro.
No.
What? What do
They
you mean,
can
no?
still hear you.
Hear what?
Unzip, you go to the urinal and you touch yourself.
I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her a lot.
You're stupid, man. Stop that. Stop being immature. Fucking hell.